Welcome, big screen sports fans, back to another big screen sports broadcast. It's the boss here, and we've got Canada Day Baseball here this afternoon on this holiday Wednesday. Welcome back to the big screen sports broadcast. We've got a great matchup here between our Toronto Blue Jays and the visiting New York Mets. I want to welcome everybody back. We are on a little bit of a hiatus there, making sure that we're planning out the rest of our summer now that the NHL and NBA finals are done. We've got the US Open done. We had UFC Freedom 250 and all these great events. And now we're ready to bring you some Blue Jays baseball. And no better game to bring you than the illustrious Canada Day game here today. So I want to welcome all of those either new or returning viewers of the big screen sports broadcast. It's fantastic to have everybody back here at the best place to watch your favorite sports anywhere, anytime, for your favorite teams. So today we have the Blue Jays playing the Mets. I want to go out and thank everybody for all of those people who have tuned into the original big screen sports broadcast through the Oilers playoff run that we did. It was a fantastic viewing. Lots of people loved it. I love doing it for you people because there's nothing better than watching and enjoying the game with your friends, family, and close ones, because we all love to watch sports together. That's what makes sports great. So before we get into it here, I want to shout out those baseball fans that are watching from far and wide and from close and tight-knit groups here locally in the Edmonton area, friends and family, and wish you all a happy Bobby Bonilla Day. For those of you that are baseball fans, you know exactly what I mean. It's the day the Mets continue to pay one of their former players, Bobby Bonilla Day, in a restructured deal that allows them to stretch out a contract. For those of you that don't know the details, I don't have them in front of me, so just search up Bobby Bonilla Day and you'll get the full ChatGPT recap of that. And speaking of ChatGPT, for those of you that are new, if you're returning, bear with me. You may already know the challenge. Maybe you need a little tune-up and a reminder of what goes on here at Big Screen Sports on our broadcast. Today is very simple, and these broadcasts are very simple. We have what we like to call the Boss vs. BetGBT challenge, a broadcast-specific betting challenge that me and ChatGPT, or as I like to call them in this mode, BetGBT, take on some of the daily picks that we like to do in these games, go head-to-head. We like to chirp each other, go back and forth. You'll be seeing it all game long. So no better time than to show you what we've got here for the Boss vs. BetGBT challenge today. So as you can see, our friend BetGBT has taken the Blue Jays money line to win outright here at Rogers Place in Toronto. They are going to be winning the game according to BetGBT. And I've got the Blue Jays scoring over 4.5 runs. I'm watching the game right now. It's a sea of red there in Toronto, and it's no better time to watch some day baseball on a Wednesday when you don't have to work and cheer for some runs. So look for the Blue Jays to score over 4.5 runs. So another thing we like to do here at Big Screen Sports, for those of you, again, new to the Big Screen Sports broadcast, why we started and set out to do these broadcasts, it's very, very simple. We're here to change the way you watch your favorite teams play your favorite sports every single time you tune in. What we like to do is change it up from the traditional broadcast. There's two very special key aspects of Big Screen Sports broadcast that sets us apart from a traditional sports broadcast. Now, don't get me wrong. I love our Dan Schulman, Jamie Campbell's, Caleb Josephs. They do fantastic jobs in the booth for the Blue Jays. For our Edmonton Oilers fans out there, locally like myself, there's no better combo in sports than Jack Michaels and Louis DeBrusque on the call. It's two of the best guys to do it for our favorite NHL team, the Edmonton Oilers. So this is not a shot at any of those great broadcasters and the many others that live and reside in their favorite teams and their favorite commentating duos. This is just to change the way that we watch sports nowadays, with things being, filtered, censored, all that kind of stuff. We're going to blow through that. All right. So there's two things that we're going to like to talk about. Number one, it's starting to become more of a real thing, but we want to make sure we go head on into it as well, is the gambling side of sports. Obviously, you don't have Buck Martinez up in the booth back in the day talking about, covering the spread or hitting the over 8.5 runs in a game. You never had that. You may start to see it more throughout sports as it's becoming legalized now in more states and, of course, provinces now in our country, our very own, on this beautiful Canada Day. So there's the sports gambling stuff. Lots to talk about. I love talking sports gambling. There's nothing better in this world than sitting down at the bar with your boys, having some beers, recapping and sharing your parlays that you put out, matching your parlays with your boys, and sweating out bets through an entire game of two random teams that may not even matter, or if it's your favorite team and you just want to have a little more juice, a little more action during these games. And the second thing, the one that's going to define the big screen sports broadcast and set us apart from traditional, media broadcast, traditional sporting broadcasts you would see on television, it's very simple. We're going to have some explicit language. We're going to fuck, shit, swear it up here on the big screen sports broadcast because, again, sports fans swear. They swear at their favorite players when they're not playing well. They swear at the guys that are doing good but still think they can play better. They swear at the managers for the decisions they make. They swear all the time during the games. So why not incorporate it into the broadcast? If you're watching alongside the boss, you want to have some good rapport, some good back and forth, get in the chat, all that kind of stuff. We're going to let it fly. I'm going to let the swears fly because that's what sports was built on, is swears and talent. Those two things alone, bringing together the community because we all swear, we all do it. Maybe Phillip Rivers, the quarterback back in the day for the Chargers, maybe he wasn't much of a swear guy. But quite frankly, you know what? There's very far and few of those people in this world that just generally do not drop a fuck or a shit bomb every once in a while. And that's what we're here to change in the broadcasting ways. So let's get into another aspect of big screen sports broadcasts that I like to do. Have a little bit of a script, have some things to follow along to, have some things to talk about. Obviously, there's nothing better than talking Blue Jays baseball. We could talk about it all day long. But for those of you viewers that are like, you know what, it's hard to watch a 9-inning game of baseball, I feel you. I get you. I played the sport. I feel you there in terms of, trying to sit down and really watch a baseball game from start to finish. It might be hard. I get that. We had a great World Series run last year that there was a lot more investment from people that didn't watch a single second of Blue Jays, but they felt that community, that sense of belonging like us Oilers fans have had for the past few years, minus this last one, where you just want to watch the game. You want to feel the excitement with people that maybe love the sport. You want to feel the excitement of, the nation rooting along for one team and one team only, especially against those, bad guys and villains in the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's hard not to root for the Blue Jays over the Dodgers in that scenario. So we may have had tons and tons and millions of, Blue Jays fans popping their heads up out in the States, trying to root against the Dodgers, being, that team that spends all the money and wins all the time. And so in that moment, it's very simply put, I want to bring a sense of, belonging and community and a reason for those non-baseball fans that may not watch a Canada Day Blue Jays game all the time or at any time to be able to watch the broadcast nonetheless with those that they love to watch the game with. So a scenario, let's say the boyfriend and a girlfriend are sitting down the couch on Canada Day, and before, they go out to do, some fireworks on Canada Day, maybe they're going to sit down and watch the Blue Jays game. Instead of her playing on her phone on social media, she can maybe tune into some fun topics here that we're going to be doing at Big Screen Sports. So we got the sports topics, we've got some non-sports topics so that everybody can be a part of the Big Screen Sports broadcast. All right. So here is what we have for today's broadcast topics divided into each inning. Now, I want to mention, as you guys are reading through this list, that obviously we will be talking about the game. We're not going to be doing the whole ball one, strike three, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have some fun and watching the Blue Jays games together. But here are some fun topics that I think that everybody can contribute to. So, of course, you see some sports ones at the top. The All-Star voting system in the MLB is flawed. The Canada-Morocco World Cup preview. The worst things about summer. Vladdy's second half outlook. LeBron's new team. Who's it going to be? Some underrated celebrity crushes. Kawhi is a Raptor again. Markstrom fills the Bobrovsky void in Florida. And the best beer is at the airport, the lake, or the post-golf beer. So those topics will be talked about in each inning throughout the slow moments of the play. Maybe it's, a ground ball and it takes, 15 to 20 seconds. Maybe we bring it up, talk about it throughout. I'll mention, throw it a, hey, ball 3-1 count to Springer, all that kind of stuff. But we want to have fun here at the Big Screen Sports broadcast. So what we're going to do here while they're finishing up here the Canada Day segment, we're going to take a quick break and then come to you with some bets for the boss, the prop of the game, another fun segment we're going to do here at Big Screen Sports, and probably first pitch coming up very shortly. All right, we are back here as they are unwinding the fantastically big outfield Canada Day flag. It's an honor and an annual tradition that I love to watch. It's the Canada Day Blue Jays New York Mets game. Welcome for those of you just tuning in. It's Brock the Boss Earl here on the Big Screen Sports podcast of our Toronto Blue Jays New York Mets Canada Day annual tradition here in Major League Baseball. And I'm so glad to be joined by all of you here today. We've got a lot of exciting action for those of you new returning. The Big Screen Sports broadcasts are very simple. We're here to change the way you watch your favorite teams play your favorite sports every single time they suit up with your friend here, the boss. We're here to change the way we do things. For those of you just tuning in, reminder for you baseball fans, if you're not a baseball fan, you won't have a clue what I'm talking about, but make sure you search it up so you're in the loop here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast. I want to shout out, have a very happy Bobby Bonilla Day for those of you watching at home, and celebrate this historic holiday each and every day. Our Toronto Blue Jays suit up and Bobby Bonilla getting his paycheck cut for him from the New York Mets. We've got some incredible broadcast topics here today. So we've got 9 innings of baseball. We've got some incredible things to talk about here. So let's pull up the broadcast topics. The broadcast topics, while you're looking through them, are designed to create non-baseball fans tuning in for a baseball broadcast so we can have some things to talk about here and there. So without further ado, let's go through them quick. The All-Star voting system is flawed in the MLB. Canada versus Morocco in the World Cup. The worst things about summer. Vladdy's second half outlook. LeBron's new team. Underrated celebrity crushes. Kawhi is a Raptor again. Markstrom fills the Bobrovsky void. And best beer, Airport Lake or post golf. So we've got lots of great things here to talk about as well. For those of you returning and are new, welcome to the Big Screen Sports broadcast. Let's get into the Boss First Bet GBT Challenge bets. For those of you that know what that is, I myself am going to take on ChatGBT, or as I like to call him, BetGBT, when it comes to Big Screen Sports broadcasts, and pick a bet for each game we broadcast. Go head to head, chirp it out throughout the game, and see who comes out victorious. Maybe both of us, maybe neither of us, maybe one comes out on top while the other doesn't. So here is the Boss First BetGBT challenge today. It's the Blue Jays money line taken by BetGBT there. I always ask BetGBT for the first pick because, of course, there's nothing better than allowing your friend and foe to, to choose first when it comes to that. So we've got that as well. And, of course, it's the Canada Day baseball game. There's nothing better like it. An annual tradition unlike any other. The Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. Team total is something that we love to watch here. We love to watch for runs, so why not do that? And of course, we've got the boss's secret formula, the boss's picks for all this game for you to put on here as Russell Martin is catching the first pitch from some guy in a suit who I didn't see who it was, but that's okay because it's Canada Day. We enjoy whoever takes the mound at any moment in this game. The boss's secret formula bets are quite simple here. It's Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. Of course, the Boss First Bet GBT Challenge pick. We've got a run in the first inning. Doesn't matter who scores it, but I want to see a run here in the first inning. That would be a great bet to hit. Set the tone here for Canada Day baseball. Ernie Clement, 2+ hits. The guy's an all-star second baseman. He's going to be representing our Blue Jays at the all-star game more than likely. So we want to see him get a couple hits here tonight. And I've got Kirk anytime home run here today because I love my boy Kirk. He runs like me. He looks like me, but he's a professional athlete getting paid millions while I sit here on my couch and share with you guys the love and passion I have for Blue Jays baseball, even though there's a moment and he gives all fat guys hope just like me. So another special thing we're doing here at Big Screen Sports broadcast, we're going to introduce something we like to call the prop of the game. The prop of the game is very simple. It's a prop that I'm going to use through stressful, anxious moments here at Big Screen Sports broadcast for any game that we're broadcasting. Something that I'm going to, hold on to dear life for in those stressful moments. It's something where it's like, we're not sure what's going on. Bases loaded, 2 outs. We're down a run. We need a run. So stressful. You just want to squeeze the life out of this prop. So today's is very simple. Keep it simple. We got the baseball stress ball here that we're going to be squeezing and rolling and tolling all throughout those stressful moments of this game. Hopefully there are none, but nonetheless, that is the prop of the game here today, the stress ball baseball. All right. Some other things I want to share with you folks. If you're in the chat, if you're watching here today, it's very simple. We want to be able to share our experiences and this game in action with all of our fans here. So all you got to do is, if you're watching from wherever you're watching and you want to be a part of the chat, again, like I said, we're gonna have some great topics, some great conversation, good discussions while we watch our Blue Jays play in this Canada Day game. So make sure, if you don't have a YouTube account already, just throw one together quick, create a username, all that simple stuff. You don't have to ever post videos from it, just so that you can go into the illustrious chat there on your screen. Type in a chat, type in your answers, type in any questions, shout out someone, shout out the boss, I'll give you a shout out. So make sure we get some active viewers here. Makes it a lot easier for myself to make sure that I know that even if you're just watching from afar, I can talk to myself all day long. But it's quite simple. Throw yourself in the chat if you have a YouTube account already. If not, create a quick one here just to share your thoughts and experiences with the boss. All right. Some other graphics we've got here today. So we've got our top 3 pitchers so far here at this moment on July 1st here on this beautiful Wednesday holiday day here in Canada. We've got Gausman, Cease, and Varland. Of course, Varland is just absolutely dominating that 9th inning as our closer. There's nobody I feel safer with a lead coming into the 9th inning than Louis Varland. We've got Cease, who's got 128 Ks, top of the league there. And of course, our old reliable Kevin Gausman, who's just been, the record in the ERA may not reflect how he's pitching this year, but he's still a workhorse and goes out there and competes every single day. Next, we've got our top 3 hitters as it stands. Now, some people may not like the third one, but this is, some people might have picked Vladdy, some might have picked Nathan Lucas, some might have picked Varsho. Kirk's just coming back into the lineup, so he doesn't have the stats quite yet. But these are my top 3 hitters as it stands right now. I've got Ernie Clement, who, again, like I mentioned earlier, all-star second baseman. He's hitting just about 300. And an OPS of 755. We've got our boy Okamoto, who's just dropping bombs every time he can, no pun intended. He's got 19 home runs on the year. And of course, I like Jesus Sanchez. He's been a great addition to the team this year, hitting almost 275, and that is an OPS of 753. Now, some of you non-baseball people are probably thinking, what are all those stats? That's okay. We're here to teach and learn and educate those that maybe aren't baseball fans. Maybe the boyfriend's got it on in the house before you guys go out for the big, fireworks show wherever you're at, and you're just going to play on your phone on social media, maybe do some chores around the house, go do some errands. But if you are sitting down and watching the game with him, let's educate yourself so that he can enjoy the game as well. We'll have some fun topics, like I said here. So tune in again for those that may just be joining now. Here are the topics for the broadcast tonight. We've got some good ones here in relation to some fun Blue Jays related, other sports related, and some fun outside of sports topics that anybody can contribute to. So we want to make sure that our fans are having the best time here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast. All right. So while we're doing all this, for those of you that are tuning in, make sure that you do a consistent job of checking out Big Screen Sports. You may be tuning in. Maybe you got a friend who said you got to check out the boss on the Big Screen Sports broadcast. He is the most fun, electric personality on the YouTube live sports watch party market, which that's what I'm going for right now. He says you got to check out Big Screen Sports. So let's shout out a couple things here. Let's go and check on social media there at Big Screen Sports. For social media on X, it's at Big Screen Sport with no S on the end. But go give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, X. You're going to see all the best reaction shots, best moments, best debates from these broadcasts on social media. We want you to fill up those comments. We want you to share it with your friends, like it, of course, and contribute to each social media post we do on all of our platforms here. We've also got the X platform at Big Screen Boss here, so he'll be tweeting throughout all the time during broadcasts, outside of broadcast, random sports stuff, non-sports stuff. It's just to be a bunch of the boss's thoughts on X, similar to Creed's blog on The Office. It's just going to be thoughts and opinions. Whether somebody sees it or not doesn't matter to me, because I'm going to share them anyway, so hopefully you go and tune that anyways. And of course, we've got some other fun things as well on our website, so make sure you go and check that out. head to bigscreensports.ca. We're going to get more into the blogs and things that you can read, you know, sitting down on the pooper at work. You get home or you get to the office, have your first cup of coffee. You're trying to really drag out that morning and get as close to lunchtime as you can. So you're going to head to the can itself and take a seat and maybe read a blog or two from what the boss is thinking on all the things in sports and non-sports topics here. So we're going to take a short break and then be right back for first pitch. Back as they're showing up the starting lineup as for the New York Mets, as well as the starting defense for our Toronto Blue Jays. They're taking the bat here on this beautiful Canada Day game. Welcome back, everybody. It's your favorite sports personality. It's the boss here who is ready to share with you some exciting Canada Day baseball with our Toronto Blue Jays and New York Mets. An exciting annual tradition unlike any other as we get ready for the first pitch here from Toronto, which we've got a good strike call right there. Oops. All right, so we've got Carson Bench here. For those of you that are just tuning into the Big Screen Sports broadcast, welcome to the first ever Blue Jays Canada Day Big Screen Sports broadcast. Oh my God, what a diving play. That's how you set the tone, Vladdy. That's how you set the tone right there. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff you got to do to set the tone here in Blue Jay land. All right, so let's get back to this here. Nope. Wow, what a play. Let's go. Vladdy setting the tone. That's what I'm talking about right there. Juan Soto now up to the plate as I try to remember. There we go. One out on the play with a strike called here. We've got Juan Soto, one of the best hitters on the New York Mets and in the MLB. here this year, as we've got our starter Braden Fisher throwing ball one here. We got a 1-1 count in the top of the first. Welcome to the Big Screen Sports broadcast, everybody. It's an exciting time here. For those of you that are tuning in to the Big Screen Sports broadcast for the first time, we are excited to have you here watching along with your favorite sports personality, the boss here. We've got a deep fly ball into the gap in right field along the warning track, right up against the wall of Dalton Valer Show. That's how you set the tone here. All right. 2 outs now here for Braden Fisher in the top of the first. Deep fly there by Juan Soto. So, for those of you that are just tuning in and may have missed the start of the broadcast, we've got our broadcast topics here. We're going to talk throughout as we give Bo, his standing ovation on Canada Day. A brand new crowd, brand new Toronto fans that are coming in, giving his ovation during the third and final game of this home stretch between the New York Mets, giving him some love. So as you can see here, our first topic throughout the first inning is going to be the MLB All-Star system being flawed, as we have ball one here with 2 outs in the top of the first. So as we're speaking throughout this, we're going to share some broadcast topics. You know, we're not going to do the whole ball 2, ball 3 all the time. We're going to be talking conversation, maybe give you a recap of where the count is at that current moment, and update you here on the little score bug that, yes, I did create myself. Handmade, boss-made material here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast. So very quite easily, simply put, one of the best graphics you're going to see in the YouTube live stream. Blue Jays watch along markets there, as we've got a 3-0 count here to our former Blue Jay Bo Bichette with Braden Fisher on the mound. So talking about the MLB All-Star system being flawed. I love Vladdy. He's a great player. Seems like an amazing leader. Signed a long-term contract to be a Blue Jay for life, essentially, as we have ball 4 there and a man on first with a walk to Bo Bichette. So it's very simply put that the system of the fans voting for the All-Stars in the MLB is flawed. I love Vladdy. He does not deserve to be an All-Star, and I understand where people's gripes are. Well, he still has a very good batting average, but the Vladdy we know is a, extra base machine, and that's what we signed him for, the millions and millions of dollars here, as we have ball 1 to 4-hole hitter Francisco Lindor. We can't be having the fans voting for the All-Stars. Like, we can have maybe a few spots that are like, the reserve spots, or the, maybe not the starters. We can't be having the fans vote, because again, they vote with their heart and not their brain, as we have another strike there, 1-1 count. We can't allow the fans to choose just their favorite players to be All-Stars, because maybe in some cases they haven't earned it. And again, I love Vladdy. He's one of my favorite players on the Blue Jays. He's so eccentric. Everything he does is hilarious. How he runs, how he communicates, all that sort of stuff. Oops. Is very funny to me. So I truly don't think that he is an all-star at first base. Ben Rice in the New York Yankees, he's hitting an unbelievable he has an unbelievable season so far. I'll pull up the stats while I talk to you about it. Foul ball there. We've got a 2-2 count here, 2 outs with a runner on first. We can't have this MLB All-Star system being flawed in the terms of not allowing the players to earn the right to be in the All-Star game. So Ben Rice, for those of you, the first baseman for the New York Yankees, yes, division rival. It hurts me to say this, but he has been playing at an unbelievable clip. And that's strike 3. Boom! There's the punchy. Let's end that inning here, going into the next inning there. So let's clear this all up. As we wipe back the counts, we got no more runner on. We're going to have the bottom of the first here. So now allow me, folks, I'm going to be doing my best here to do, let's see, top. There we go. Bottom of the first. Look at that. Nice and easy. Ben Rice has a 268 average with 23 home runs. I believe that's league leading. If not, that's top of the league. 54 RBIs. And an OPS of 921. Now, Vladdy, of course, does not have those kind of records. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on what you think, if that's something that we can, see if there's something they can change. So what do you guys think in terms of changing the way that the MLB All-Stars voting system goes about? I believe that my prediction, and that, if I had to be commissioner for a day and we had to change it, I would allow, similar to the Hall of Fame voting, I would allow MLB, what's it called, MLB media to have some votes. I would also allow, maybe there's certain representatives from each team, in terms of maybe coaching staff or even GMs in that case, allowed to vote. And then, of course, obviously they do the fan system voting for one and one thing only. They want to get the fans involved. They want to allow them to share their opinion. I understand why they have the fan voting system. They get hundreds of thousands of votes for players, so the numbers look great. But quite frankly, real baseball purists like myself understand that, it's something that we can't really allow the fans to choose, because again, there are a lot of players in this league and in many sports that have incentives in their contracts that say if you're an all-star, you get an extra 200 grand, bonus in your contract. So again, the Ben Rices of the world, there may be scenarios where, quite frankly, it says that, that's, again, you make an all-star game, starting lineup or maybe even a reserve spot, but you just make the starting lineup. That's, it's a $250,000 bonus. And again, these guys are making millions and millions of dollars. Some guys aren't. So again, if they're a lower totem pole player, like an Ernie Clement, for example, who's not making, 40, $50 million a year, he makes the All-Star game, that bonus is going to be pretty cool for him. So, that's just my thoughts. Share it in the chat what you guys are thinking in terms of that, and how you feel about the MLB All-Star voting system. We got Nathan Lucas leading off here for our Blue Jays against Freddie Peralta of the Mets. 1-1 count. Second foul ball here as we go to a 1-2 count in this game. So there are some other flawed MLB All-Star things that, it's hard to say that. It's hard to say, quite frankly, exactly what's going to happen with this All-Star voting. Now, Vladdy and Ben Rice is just the example I use because it's our Toronto Blue Jays. Again, Ernie Clement, far between in terms of other American League second baseman, deserves that starting spot in the American League quite easily over any other second baseman on the stats I looked up. And I choose the Vladdy Ben Rice one because it is a very like a contrast in comparison in the stats, and they are only a few thousand votes difference the last time I looked as of yesterday. So who knows, maybe the Canada game changes that in terms of everybody's watching the game and they see Vladdy, he gets maybe a double and a couple singles, maybe those votes go up and Ben Rice goes 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. Who knows? But I believe that, again, honest, non-biased opinion, I would go with Ben Rice. Again, having 23 home runs in the first half of the season. He's on pace to hit probably, 55 at that moment, whatever the math turns out to be. As we have Nathan Lucas with his third straight foul ball, 7th pitch coming up here in the at-bat. Incredible AB to start off and drive that pitch count up on the starting pitcher. So that's what I think. I hope Vladdy can turn around the second half. That's going to be one of the discussions here, as I mentioned there in the broadcast topic. So for those of you that, again, are just tuning into the Big Screen Sports broadcast, maybe it's your first broadcast, as we have yet another foul ball by Nathan Lucas. We have the Boss vs. BetGBT challenge here today. Those of you that don't know, it's the Boss. I take on ChatGBT in terms of BetGBT, as I like to call him, when it comes to this challenge, where I allow him to pick a bet, and then I pick a bet as well for a specific game we are broadcasting. So in this case, the Canada Day game versus the New York Mets, as Nathan Lucas puts it on the ground in the hole and short, turning throw by Lindor, safe. We've got a runner on base here to start the bottom of the first. And you know why I'm getting a little excited here for that is because, quite frankly, guys, this is why. The Boss's secret formula. Take a look at one of those picks. We've got the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs, of course, the Boss's bet in the BetGBT challenge. And, of course, I want to run in the first inning. I was glad that the Mets weren't able to score a run. So let's hope that Vladdy here coming up in the 2-hole back from injury is able to help that alongside Ernie Clement 2+ home runs. And every Blue Jays broadcast, we're going to pick a player anytime home run. Today's happens to be Alejandro Kirk. We got ball one inside here to start off this AB. Again, Vladdy, as you see the stats here, he's hitting 268 with only 4 home runs and OPS below 700. So again, there's lots of baseball stats. I believe baseball stats are one of the most ridiculous things in the world compared to other sports. So you know, it's a tough comparison. Oops, my bad. Got the wrong ones going here. 2-0 count to Vladdy, bottom of the first. I don't know. I know why. I know why the fan system voting is so flawed. It sucks, but that's just what we have to do. And quite frankly, it's a tough look. Oh, let's go, Vladdy. Ball down the left field line. Left fielder's cutting it off. Lucas cutting, round and going to second to third, and throws to second base. Vladdy slides in safe. He's got a double. Like I said right there, Vladdy with the double is what you need in this situation here. So let's go and throw a couple runners here on second and third. We're looking for that first run in the inning here. Let's get the boss's secret formula going to a hot start in the first ever Blue Jays broadcast here. That is the kind of stuff I need to see from you, Vladdy. That's exactly the kind of stuff that may make you even an all-star, or more importantly, have an incredible resurgence in the second half. All right, we've got second and third, 112 miles an hour off the bat for Vladdy, who just had an incredible base hit down the left field line. He's getting a mound visit already. Here in the bottom of the first with our boy Okamoto. That guy is just driving up numbers. For those of you that may have missed it, our top 3 hitters on our Blue Jays so far. Right there, smack dab in the middle is Okamoto, who's been hitting, you know, only 236, but quite frankly, with the production he's done in terms of extra base hits and that 780 OPS and 19 home runs included in there, no one really cares about those kind of stats. So let's see what the Blue Jays can do, and more specifically Okamoto. They're popping up a stat here. The Blue Jays have a 232 average with runners in scoring position, 27th in the MLB. Again, our Blue Jays are 6 games below 500. Hopefully we can be below 5 games below 500 after this game. Oh, mama. That was right down the heart of the plate, 97 miles an hour. He fouls it back for strike 1. That's a tough look. But quite frankly, I still believe in our guy here. So Okamoto, come on, baby. Come on. For those of you also just tuning in here, may have missed the start of the show, we got another foul ball, fastball, top of the zone, 0-2 count. We're introducing a new segment here you wouldn't have seen in the Oilers playoff run. We like to call it the prop of the game. The prop of the game today is a nice little baseball stress ball here. Something that I want to have where there's a stressful moments. For example, when the boss needs a run in the first inning and the Blue Jays have runners in scoring position, it's hard for that to come by. We're going to have that stress ball and we're going to squeeze it. We're going to have every kind of prop in the world for you to watch along as we got a 1-2 count now, ball in the dirt. So I'm just going to squeeze the life out of this fucking stress ball baseball as we here are looking for a first inning run. So please, Okamoto, come on, baby. Give me that run. Give me that run. All right, a little step off there. All right. All right. Pitcher comes, sets, 1-2 count, second and third, none away in the bottom of the first. Get through. All right, that run's going to score. Let's go. And he's safe. Yes. That's how you put up a run in the first inning. The boss is already hitting his bets. That is huge on this Canada Day of baseball with the Blue Jays. That is what we like to see. We've got runners on second and third. Oops. There we go. All right, so let's go change and update the score here as we've got now 1 run on the board for the Blue Jays. Check that out. There we go. All right, still none out. Varsho up in the 4-hole spot here as we've got the first run in the first inning. We got a deep fly ball to center. Vladdy's looking to tag. Runner's getting behind it. Doesn't look like he's going to advance to third. He's going to fake him and bluff him off. We've got 1 out here in the first inning. All right, so The boss's secret formula, the boss's picks are already hitting so far. The run in the first inning, you can check that one off here, as we are already 1 for 4 on our bets. We've got the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs, Ernie Clement to have 2 or more hits, and our boy walking up to the plate right now, Alejandro Kirk, anytime home run. What a moment this would be to hit 4 runs in the game in the first inning. Our boy Kirk to hit that prop for us here in the first part of the game. Let's see if he can make it happen for those of you watching live. All right, we got Kirk here, 1 out, runners on first and second, bottom of the first on Canada Day. We got ball 1 here to start. That's what I'm talking about. All right. For those of you who may not have tuned in to the top of the first or middle of the first here, just tuning in live now, we were talking about the MLB All-Star system being flawed here, as we've got a 1-0 count to Kirk in the bottom of the first on the Blue Jays Canada Day annual game, as we get a step off from the pitcher, looking Vladdy back to second base. I think it's flawed. The fact that Vladdy would potentially be the starting first baseman for the American League team is just a disgrace to those of us who love the game of MLB baseball, because he has not earned it compared to others in the rest of the American League. 2-0 count to Kirk. Ben Rice is hitting .260 with 23 home runs for our AL East rival New York Yankees. I hate saying that I'd rather put a Yankee in over a Blue Jay in the All-Star game, but quite frankly, he has deserved it here so far. And we've got a 3-0 count to Kirk, who's got runners and first and second. Oh, look at that Blue Jays batting home run jacket. That is just a thing of glory. All red, all the teams on there from teams present and in the past. So we've got some guys here strike right down the middle. Could not be more down the middle on a 3-0 count here, as we get ready for a Kirky 3-1 sit on it meatball pitch, getting ready for Kirk to go yard here. Welcome to those of you watching the Big Screen Sports broadcast. It's the boss here on an incredible day of Canada Day baseball, brought to you by Big Screen Sports here. We're here to change the way you watch your favorite teams play your favorite sports each and every day. So we've got Alejandro Kirk in the box here, Canada Day, Rogers Center, Toronto against the New York Mets. He's got runners in first and second. Bottom one already up 3-0. That is a 4-pitch walks, my friend. So we are going to have bases loaded here for Penango, who's going to be hitting there. I'm sure the pitching coach is going out for a talk, and there he goes, stepping up outside the dugout. For those of you that don't know, the New York Mets have had a new manager, as they fired Mendoza. I think it was Carlos Mendoza, if I'm not mistaken. Fired their manager a few days ago, so now they have an interim manager taking over, as the Mets have not had the start to the season with the payroll that they have from their owner, Steve Cohen, the former hedge fund manager, or maybe current, I'm not even sure. But yeah, we're getting a little mound visit here. So for those of you that are just tuning into the Big Screen Sports podcast, I want to mention to you, for those that are baseball fans, maybe you're not, maybe you're a non-baseball fan, but especially for those baseball fans, we want to give you a very happy Bobby Bonilla Day shout out. It's the greatest day of the year. Nothing better on the Day of Canada Day to shout out the New York Met, especially in this particular case, playing the New York Mets. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. What a time to be alive for Bobby Bonilla, who's getting paid on his long-term, let's see. We have breaking news here as well on the Big Screen Sports broadcast, as we have a infield fly, bases loaded, 1 out pop up from, unfortunately, Penanga here. Bases loaded now, 2 outs. Blue Jays up 1-0. We have breaking news here, as a couple hours ago, the Toronto Maple Leafs have signed Sergei Bobrovsky. So for those of you just tuning in, Markstrom of the Devils will be filling the void in the crease for the Florida Panthers in spite of Bobrovsky. But now it comes to find out that, what's it called? That the Toronto Maple Leafs will now be signing Bobrovsky, as we have strike one here. To our boy Ernie Clement, who, again, for those of you just tuning in, we need these to happen in terms of hitting our parlay. Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. Run scored in the first innings already happened. Ernie Clement, who's up to bat right now. Let's get him 2+ hits. That would be lovely as well for some overruns. And our boy Kirk, anytime touchdown. We're going to do anytime home run. We're going to do anytime home run every single Blue Jays broadcast here. So we've got a 1-1 count here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. All outside Ernie Clement. We've got a 2-1 count. So let's keep things going here. As we are talking here, one of our broadcast topics, again, for those of you that may have missed it, that are just tuning in, the first inning topic is the MLB All-Star voting system being flawed. If you're out there watching this right now, throw it in the chat. Let's see what your thoughts are on the MLB All-Star voting as we have a 2-2 count. I want to see, so the comparison we talked about earlier for some fans that came in and out of the broadcast was that it's flawed in the sense that Vladdy is going to be an all-star. I love Vladdy. He's one of my favorite players on my favorite Blue Jays team. But even I know as a non-baseball or non-biased baseball fan that he does not deserve to be in the all-star game over the likes of AL East rival Ben Rice as Ernie Clement strikes out to end the inning. We're going to take a short break here going into the top of the second. We are back for the top of the second inning. Let's change that right here for the inning number. All right. There we go. All right. So we've got the top of the second inning here. All right, let's clean this up a little here, make that look a little bit better. There we go. All right, so we've got nobody on, nobody out. Top of the second inning here. Blue Jays up 1 with another relief pitcher on the mound and Spencer Miles. Strike 1 is the call. Oops. There we go. All right, so for those of you just tuning into the broadcast, again, happy Bobby Bonilla Day as we take on the actual New York Mets here in Bobby Bonilla Day. For those that don't know, Bobby Bonilla, former New York Met, is still getting paid on a contract that was deferred from back in the 90s, I believe, so check it out. We also have a second inning World Cup Canada-Morocco matchup topic we will be talking about here throughout the second inning as we have a 1-2 count now with their 5-hole hitter Ewing up to bat, Spencer Miles on the mound there for the Toronto Blue Jays. All right, so hand up. Done a bad job watching the World Cup. that's on me. Never been a soccer guy, but usually I try to do a good job following along to the World Cup because it is an elite tournament every 4 years. As Kirk comes out to the mound to talk it out with his relief pitcher. I'm not sure why we're 3 pitches into the inning using up a mound visit, but we are, and that's okay. Canada Morocco World Cup. So my brother has watched 98% of the World Cup games. He's a big soccer guy. Tries to watch other seasons and other leagues throughout non-World Cup times. So especially when it comes to Canada, he's our guy. So I asked him the other day, as our Big Screen Sports World Cup insider and analyst, he said that, quote, Canada does not have a shot against Morocco. As Spencer Miles strikes out the first out of the game. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Spencer Miles strikes out Ewing in the top of the second for 1 away. All right. Yeah, he says we do not have a chance against Morocco in the World Cup, my brother, the Big Screen Sports World Cup insider and analyst and expert. So I want to hear from you in the chat. If you guys are watching, wherever you're watching, get a YouTube account, throw in the chat. What do you guys think our chances are in the game against Morocco? So as we have a strike one called there, I want to know your thoughts on what you think about this particular, World Cup matchup. Never been here before as a country. It's exciting. If obviously we lost in that game, nobody would be wholehearted and say it was a disappointment. We've gotten to a point we've never gotten into in this tournament. I'm trying to be more of a World Cup guy. We've got an exciting game coming up. The chance to move on to a stage again we've never been to and nobody would ever have thought we've gotten into, especially in the world of soccer, as we have a 1-2 count now to the 6-hole hitter Alvarez. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Put it in the chat if you think we have a chance, what the best scenario is for us in terms of what we have to do good, what we have to make sure our weaknesses aren't exploited, all that kind of stuff. As somebody myself who has done a bad job watching, boom, there's strike 3 right there. Painted two-seamer running back on the corner. Let's add the 2 outs there as we have a now 2 out bottom or top of the second inning here. We have some very exciting aspects of Blue Jays baseball coming up here on this illustrious Canada game. Welcome back. If you guys are new to the Big Screen Sports broadcast, here with the boss, bringing you the best sports broadcasting for your favorite teams and your favorite sports each and every game. So we're here on Canada Day, the tradition unlike any other on Canada Day, where the Toronto Blue Jays, Canada's baseball team, hosts a American opponent. Here today happens to be the New York Mets, as we have a 1-0 count here with now a strike called to the 7-hole hitter Young. So I want to know from you guys in the chat. It's very simple. Canada, Morocco, it's been an electric time. The South African goal in the 90th plus minute was one of the most electric, I saw. It was the Canada Heritage Moment type of goal in the history of Canadian sports. That was something that electrified the country for that time. It was one of those where were you moments, and it was something that brought me a little bit of juice when it comes to the game of soccer, which I've never been a soccer guy. So it's one of those, it's tough to not see and not have hope going into this game. So again, it's one of those that it's very tough to see Canada not beating Morocco, as we've got our boy Jake Honky piping up in the chat. Love you, Honky. Welcome to the Big Screen Sports broadcast, who says Canada will always stand a chance. You're absolutely right. Canada is the greatest country in the world, as we have strike 3 and the end of the inning there. So we are going to change the to the bottom of the second. So Canada, Morocco, as we are at a commercial break here. We don't do commercials here. We don't do that kind of stuff. We entertain you instead of pulling out your phones. You come on the broadcast, you watch the boss as we talk about some of these things, like Canada versus Morocco and all that sort of stuff. Honky saying a bad day to be a Met. That's my boy. It's absolutely a bad day to be a Met because it's Canada Day. It's the Blue Jays. It's the Blue Jays Day. This is, a sport dominated by American teams. We get Canada Day. That's our day. It's our special day. As I look outside my backyard and I see all these people doing active, exciting things with their friends and family while I sit in here and broadcast one of the greatest annual traditions for us baseball fans here, the Canada Day Blue Jays game. So now we've got the bottom of the second here. So I'm going to give my prediction for Canada, Morocco. Again, hand up, been a bad Canadian citizen watching and following the World Cup and the rest of the World Cup itself. Hand up, my bad, working on it. But now there's no better chance to tune in than it's a point of the tournament and the World Cup history that we've never been to as a country against Morocco. Here's what I want to see, and here's what I think will happen. I want to see penalty kicks. Penalty kicks in soccer is the most electric thing, I think, in all the sports when it comes to extra time. Now that they've added the 3-on-3 in the NHL, as a hockey guy, that is pretty electric, especially in the regular season. But it's hard not to justify that the penalty kicks in terms of the size of the net, the effectiveness the goalie has, and the chances and the odds they have to save the puck are so small in terms of the favors goalie for the goalie that it's hard not to root for the players and the shooters of those teams to score. It's one of the most electric things in sports, I think, especially when the World Cup comes around every 4 years. A penalty kicks to determine your team's future. And in a sport where if you lose, you might get hung by your neck in the town when you return home on the private plane if you don't make it as far as they want to in a sport dominated in this world. As we've got Keys on a 1-0 count. 1-0 count here to start the bottom of the second. I think it's going to go to penalty kicks. I think there's a chance we lose about the country. I don't know anything about the soccer team. All I know is I talked to my brother, Jake, not in Jake Honky, and Jake Withrow, who is our Big Screen Sports World Cup insider analyst and expert. And he said, we don't stand a chance. I don't like that. I like Jake Honky saying Canada will always stand a chance. That's my guy. That's my roommate. That's how we do things here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast, because there's no better. Damn it. Strike three. All right. There goes that batter. We got one out here in the bottom of the second, 9-hole coming up. I want to hear from you guys in the chat what your thoughts are on Canada, Morocco, what we need to do right. If there's some soccer people watching, throw it in the chat. Create a YouTube account and just get in there and share what you think about Canada, Morocco, and some other things. So for those of you just tuning in, again, I'm going to throw it out here. It's one of the greatest days in all of baseball history for us baseball fans that tune into every game. I want to give a big happy Bobby Bonilla Day for all of those watching that are Blue Jays and baseball fans alike. So a Bobby Bonilla Day, if you're not sure, take a look at what it means, because quite frankly, it's an electric story and something that will go on for, I don't even know how many more years, but I'm going to enjoy it this year because it's one of the best stories in all of sports. And then we have some other broadcast topics as well. We talked about the MLB All-Star voting system being flawed, the fact that Vladdy may become a All-Star the way he's been playing this year over a player like Ben Rice of the Yankees, who's got 23 home runs hitting 250 plus. And then, of course, just talking right now about the Canada-Morocco World Cup matchup. So, we got a 2-2 count to Jimenez hitting in the 9-hole. Blue Jays up 1-0 with a first inning run. And you know why I got so excited for that first inning run? Because it hit one of the bets here in the boss's secret formula. The Blue Jays over 4.5 runs, as we have Jimenez flying out to right field. There's 2 outs there in the bottom of the second. Run was scored in the first inning. We haven't had an Ernie Clement 2+ hit. In every Blue Jays broadcast, we're going to be giving you an anytime home run pick. And this happens to be Kirky's day. You know why I pick Kirk? For all of you watching, he gives us fat guys hope. Like, maybe I still have a chance. Maybe not now at 28, going 29, out of shape. But at least there's young fat kids out there like the boss who is like, maybe if Kirk can do it, I can do it. But he gives me hope, so I'm thinking, why not give us a home run here, as we've got 2 outs here and a 0-1 count. Or, 0-1 count. All right. Jake Honky in the chat says, got to get the ball in deep. If that fails, get the ball to the Italian Canadians. Great movie reference, Honky. That's why you're my boy. As Lucas does a little Brock Withrow slap it the other way, Judy into left field for a single. We are going to have a runner on first base here before getting Vladdy back up to the plate. So I want to ask you fans that maybe tuning in just now, maybe missed the first inning topic. We've talked Canada, Morocco. Let's get back to the MLB All-Star system real quick. I think it's flawed. The fact that fans can vote on it is just a horrendous a look for the game of baseball in terms of allowing players to get voted in by their fans, especially a team that only has one team in its entire country that we are celebrating today. I love Vladdy. He's one of my favorite players. But the fact that he has a chance to be the all-star representative at first base for the American League is not a great look. I don't like the Yankees, but you got to give props to Ben Rice, who's put up 23 home runs so far in the first half. He's on pace to probably hit about 57 or 58 based on how he's going right now. So I think it should be that either the kind of like the Hall of Fame voting in most sports, it should be the media, maybe some GMs of the teams and assistant GMs should get a vote, maybe the managers of each team as well. But I don't think you should let it up to the fans. I think if you want to get the fans involved, I think you let the media and the players and personnel inside the game of baseball, let them choose, the starting lineups, the starting pitchers, the starting roster spots. And then maybe if there's some reserve spots or, reserves for in case there's injury, then you let the fans vote based on a list of players that qualify for that reserve spot. So you can essentially vote a player into the All-Star game that maybe should or shouldn't based on how they've performed so far. 2-2 count to Vladdy here, who, again, mentioning to you people showing the broadcast topics, we're going to be talking about Vladdy's second half outlook in the fourth inning, so make sure you stay tuned for that because we've got some spicy takes on Vladdy's second half outlook, his first half performance review, and what we expect from our 14-year $500 million plus slugging first baseman to do in order to justify all the money he's gotten. Okay, we are going to share with you guys, for those of you that are just joining, make sure you go and check us out on social media at Big Screen Sports. For X.com, it's at Big Screen Sport with no S on the end. But check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and X for all the best sports updates from Blue Jays broadcast, the best clips, the best moments. If you weren't able to tune in live as Vladdy strikes out, seen this movie before, going into the top of the third. All right, so one of the things I want to do here on Big Screen Sports is I'm changing up the inning numbers and stuff. Bear with me here a second. No, don't want that. All right. So we have here the Boss First Bet GBT Challenge. For those of you that don't know, the Boss First Bet GBT Challenge is something that I came up with. It's the boss picking against ChatGPT, or essentially what I like to call BetGBT, allowing them to pick a bet from the game we're going to be doing the broadcast of. In this case, BetGBT took Blue Jays money line, while I took the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. It's Canada Day. It's our day today. Why not want to have the Blue Jays score 5+ runs in the game? Hopefully they can win as well. And both I and the BetGBT machine can go home happy. We also have, for those of you just tuning into the game as well, the prop of the game here. For those of you that aren't sure what the prop of the game is going to be, it's going to be something special. The prop of the game is something that, in those anxious moments, bases loaded, 2 outs, up 1, down 1, whatever the scenario is, those moments when we need a run, gotta hold the lead, all that kind of stuff, you bring out the prop. So the prop of the game today is the good old classic squishy stress ball of the baseball here. And it's one of those that it's tough to see in all that sort of stuff. So that is the prop of the game. All right, we're going to take a short break here as the Blue Jays are about to hit, and then be right back. we are back here with breaking news. Back here with breaking news on Big Screen Sports Broadcast. Canada Day Blue Jays game. The Edmonton Oilers have traded Darnell Nurse to the San Jose Sharks. And here's the kicker. No retained salary of the $9.25 million cap hit. Stan Bowman is doing what he's doing now. There's no instance on what the return is yet. There's a package and still more details to come out from the Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet World. But we did it. We traded Nurse. We've also acquired goaltender Devin Levy, former top goalie prospect from the Sabres, for a third-round pick. Two, in my opinions, fantastic trades so far, as we have two strikes here on the top of the lineup here for the New York Mets. 1-0 game for the Blue Jays. Unbelievable set of circumstances here to start this show with some breaking news. So we're going to move the worst things about summer. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to move that into the 8th inning there to fill out the void of the void, with Markstrom filling in Bobrovsky. So we'll be talking worst things about summer in the 8th inning there, because we've got some breaking news in Oilers land with a couple of moves here that Stan Bowman's been working on this Canada Day game so far. Oilers have acquired goalie Devin Levy from the Buffalo Sabres for a third-round pick, potentially the new starting goaltender there. Obviously, some more details still to come out, as that news just broke a couple hours ago. And, of course, the breaking news here, Darnell Nurse traded to the San Jose Sharks, while the Oilers will not retain any of the $9.25 million cap hit on his contract this year. What a move by Bowman. There's more to come out in terms of what's involved in the package. We might have sold the farm and got very little milk in return, but that's okay, because we do not have to retain any of that salary. And now we can go out on free agent day and get the players that we need and want. So two fantastic trades here. I want to know, if you're watching along right now, throw it in the chat what your thoughts are so far on the breaking news of Darnell Nurse trade, as well as the goalie Devin Levi trade, as we have the leadoff hitter for the Mets hitting the ball down the right field line. It'll be a double there with 2 outs in the top of the third. So Darnell Nurse gets traded. Everybody was talking about it all summer long after the end of the regular season. He requested to get a trade out. Once the rumors of Mike Babcock coming in, it was a little suspicious that his request came in around the time the news broke that the Oilers were interviewing and considering Mike Babcock for the head coaching job, and it looks like they did it, because Darnell Nurse is now a San Jose Shark. It's one of those, unfortunately, Darnell Nurse was a good defenseman, but not in the terms of a defenseman that deserves $9.25 million in this league, in this moment. So it was a little tough look for him, and all the criticism he got each and every day from us Oilers fans, who are critics. None between us in the rest of the league, as we have ball one there to Juan Soto, the 2-hole hitter, with a runner in scoring position for him with 2 outs. The goalie trade is interesting to me. I'm going to do some more research. It's all breaking news right now because, again, we're not really sure what's happening. If you've been doing your research on the whole goalie prospects to trade for, goalie targets to trade for, who is going to be the buyer and the seller for the Darnell Nurse trade kind of thing, let me know in the chat if you've had the chance to break down. Give us your immediate reactions. Give us if you've done some research, give us the stats and analysis on what this trade means for the Edmonton Oilers, or these two trades at least. In this case, so we've got a 2-1 count here. Oops. There we go. 2-1 count here to Juan Soto. So, again, a big trade here in the world of the Edmonton Oilers, back-to-back in a couple hours. Stan Bowman's working hard on Canada Day while everybody's painting their face red and white to celebrate our country's day. And there's no better thing to do than to celebrate our country's day than with a little afternoon Blue Jays baseball. No work in the middle of a Wednesday. Just a nice little in-between, in the middle of the week break, watching some Blue Jays baseball, seeing our GM of the Oilers go to work and get shit done. it's what we want to see. It's the kind of shit that you love to see because, again, everybody's hypocritical. Everybody thinks they could be the GM of the Oilers. Everybody's been hypocritical of Stan Bowman and the moves he's made. And quite frankly, it's fair to be hypocritical of some of the moves he's made. But based on just face value right now, with some more details still coming out for both trades, I love it. You did what you had to do. You got Stan Bowman, who's, not retaining any salary from Nurse. Shout out our boy Jake Honky back in the chat. Says there's no retained salary on Nurse, but I imagine the return isn't that much. I'm not an Oilers GM. I'm not an NHL GM. I have no experience in the GM role. The only GM experience I have is fantasy sports. And again, I think that, maybe holds a little bit of water, but in terms of actually making deals that involve money and contracts, maybe I don't have as much say. But like our boy Jake Honky has said, the salary thing to me is number one importance. That is a huge, huge thing for me. They probably shopped around to teams. Every team they shopped around who could take a player like Nurse, because Nurse is a good defenseman for the right price, essentially half of his contract. But I'm sure just about every team that called, or the Oilers called, probably said, well, we need you to retain half the salary. Stay fair, stay fair. Yeah, got him. Boom. There's 3 outs right there. Going to the bottom of the third here. What a play there by, come on, there we go. We now have Juan Soto, a little chopper squibber down the first base line. Spencer Miles picks it up, throws it out. We now have going into the bottom of the third. Like I was saying about Nurse, I'm sure there were a lot of teams that tried to call for him, or the Oilers called them. They were like, you got to retain half. That's just bottom line. We'll throw in some good players, good draft picks, good prospects, whatever you're looking for, but you got to retain half. And Stan Bowman shopped it around. He probably said to himself, well, there's no good packages worth retaining half the salary. And quite frankly, it's one of those that, to get the sour taste of Nurse out of our mouths as Oilers fans, which unfortunately is the case because somebody decided to sign him for $9.25 million for a season based on what he's worth, which is probably half to 3/4 of that. It's tough, so they just said, fuck it, let's just get rid of him. What's the best you can offer? Give him to the Sharks, who are rebuilding, can have that salary cap space, don't have any really superstar players they have to pay yet. They take on a contract like Nurse. The player that we've got named was, this is going to be a nice one to pronounce during the season, Shakir Mukhamadullin. That's going to be a nice one to pronounce there all season long. And much more details come out from our boy Elliot Friedman. We also have the trade of Devin Levi from the Buffalo Sabres, former top goalie prospect, for a 3rd-round pick. Again, didn't have to give up any players. I'm sure he's still on a good contract. Again, haven't done my research yet as the boss here, but based on face value, it seems like our boy Stan Bowman's making the right decisions at the helm this free agency day here today on Canada Day. So that's taken over here. So for those of you just tuning back in, we're going to switch the worst things about summer to go into the 8th inning of the broadcast topics. We'll get rid of the Markstrom Bobrovsky void. We'll fill that void with the worst things about summer void while we talk Nurse, Devin Levi, and Oilers here. So a lot still more to do here on the Oilers side, as we have the bottom of the third with Okamoto up at the plate. Russell Martin looking as snazzy as he's ever looked in the booth with his red Canada Day jersey, talking it over with the boys and Dan Schulman and them, as we have a 1-1 count here to start the bottom of the third. Talking about our Oilers, I don't know what else much we need to do. Obviously, it's free agency day. It was determined that another move that kind of affects the Oilers in terms of not re-signing him. Jack Roslovic is also a Toronto Maple Leaf now. I believe is a $4 million hit in terms of what they signed him for per year. Again, I don't know contracts. I don't know what players are worth. $4 million seems like a pretty average to accurate number that a Roslovic could make, but I'm sure the Oilers just wanted to move on, and maybe Stan Bowman wanted to put his name and stamp on another player in free agency or even in trade if there's some more details to come from the Sabres and the Sharks deals here alike. 3-1 count as Okamoto has been walked, and we are going to have a runner on first. Blue Jays winning 1-0, scored in the first inning. Why am I so excited? The Blue Jays scored in the first inning is because of the boss's secret formula. Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. A run in the first inning has already been hit. We're already 1 for 4 so far. Ernie Clement needing 2+ hits from him in every Blue Jays broadcast. We're going to pick an anytime home run hitter. And this game's is going to be Alejandro Kirk, as we have Varsho up to the plate, getting ball 1 here with a runner on first and none away. So Nurse and Devin Levi are switching spots. Devin Levi now new Oiler on the roster, and Darnell Nurse getting shipped off to San Jose. Let me know in the chat what your thoughts are on both trades from everybody. We love our boy Jake Honky for throwing in the chat, but let's get some of you other viewers. Go on there, create a YouTube account and things like that, so you can get in the chat and chime along with the boss, as we have here a 2-0 count to Varsho. I'm going to say it right now for you watching. Oh, come on, get out. Oh, that's a deep high fly ball. Not going to carry the distance, as we have 1 out, unfortunately. Oops. In the bottom of the third, Okamoto tagging back up to first base. So I think that the Oilers still have quite a bit to do. Now, again, it's tough. I think they have a lot more wiggle room with free agency in regards to salary cap. Again, this is all just breaking news here during the broadcast, so potentially even the next broadcast we'll have some more info to talk about, is some more details that we can kind of recap. But for now, all we see is the Darnell Nurse contract has been traded without any money retained. Oh, for God's sakes. No, not the Canada Day flag. We'll fix that after here in between innings. Damn, that's such a tough look. Honky, that's a tough look there. And to others as well. But yes, so the Oilers have some salary that needs to be retained and taken care of there. Obviously, a lot more wiggle room. Devin Levi, I don't believe, is a big contract coming in that we're acquiring. But again, a goaltender is what we always are looking for as Edmonton Oilers fans. So it's something that at least they're addressing. Not sure what the combination of goalies are going to be, but I'm assuming it's going to be Levi and potentially Ingram. But who knows? They could have Jari in there as well. Back in the rotation. So again, lots to be excited about. Again, face value, no details have come out. Like our boy Honky said, we'll see what the return is, and assuming it's not that much, as we have a 2-1 count here to Kirky, who's now hoping that we're going to have him hit a home run. So as we have this coming up here, we are going to show you, while we have Kirk up, our top 3 hitters so far on the Blue Jays. I know Kirk is going to be one of them who's slowly getting back into action following an injury at the start of the season. But our boy Ernie Clement, the All-Star American League second baseman, leading vote getter right now, hitting .297 with an OPS of .755. Okamoto, who's currently standing on first base, hitting 19 big boy home runs so far this season, and also having a high OPS of .780. Kirk, oh, there it is. A little line drive off the top of the glove for Lindor. Come on, get him a second. There we go. Attaboy. First and second now, 1 out. Let's go. And then, of course, Jesus Sanchez, who, again, it may be a shocking pick to some of you as one of the top 3 hitters, but I think in terms of average and home runs and, extra base hit slugging percentage with an OPS of .753, I think he's one of the top 3 consistent hitters. So we're going to have him there. All right, let's clear this count here and get back to first and second with 1 out, and Penango hitting in the box here for the Toronto Blue Jays. For those of you just tuning in to the Big Screen Sports broadcast, we want to share with you the Boss vs. BetGBT challenge, which is a challenge of competing with ChatGBT, as I like to call him, BetGBT, when it comes to this specific Big Screen Sports broadcast challenge. The BetGBT gives a pick and I give a pick, and we go head to head, whether we both win, both lose, or either one of us wins or loses, going head to head on our picks. He's taken the Blue Jays money line, which again, the Blue Jays are winning 1-0, and I've taken the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs allowed, because you know what? It's Canada Day. It's our country's day. It's our MLB team's day. Why not root for a lot of runs from our team specifically? Hopefully we can shut the door on the Mets here in the final game of this 3-game series, as Penango flies out to center field or left field, runners will go back to their bases and have 2 outs on the play. Okay. Nurse, Devin Levi, I want to know in the chat as well if there's any other, free agent targets that we're looking at, any other names on your big board that you're thinking, man, it would be so cool to have this guy here. So make sure you throw it in the chat. Create a YouTube account if you're watching at home. Just create a little YouTube chat or account, throw it in the chat. Let's get some interaction going. Allow the boss to have some good, hearty discussion on this beautiful Canada Day game in Toronto against the New York Mets. Ball one to our boy Ernie Clement, who I hope is going to be, who I hope is going to be having a nice little base hit here to help out, again, the boss's secret formula of Ernie Clement, 2+ hits here with 2 runners on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Come on, Clement. Come on. No, challenge. Challenge. Oh, you got to challenge that. Damn it. Strike 2. Or strike 1, sorry. 1-1 count. Again, very exciting times here in Edmonton for those that may have seen the news, maybe just missed the top or the beginning of this inning. But Darnell Nurse has been traded to the San Jose Sharks, who the Oilers will not be retaining a single dollar of that contract. So that is huge news of the $9.25 million cap hit. So lots more room to work with and help Stan Bowman build that team that he wants to build and give us that championship contender team around McDavid and the fellas to allow us to get back into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because guess what, guys? I love Canada Day. It's an electric game of the year. The stadium's full of red. It's our day, a little afternoon baseball, no work, all that sort of stuff. But nothing in this world beats Oilers playoff season. It's there's 5 seasons in the year. It's, spring, summer, fall, winter, Oilers playoff season. That's just, there's 5 seasons. That's what it is. And the fact that we got rid of Nurse's contract, I liked Nurse. He was a good player. Unfortunately, he just wasn't a $9 million defender, as we have ball 3, full count to Ernie Clement. Runners will be going. Make sure you check it. Throwing across. Runners will be on the move here with Ernie Clement up to the plate. I think that the Oilers are in a much better position than they were, 12 hours ago in terms of the flexibility they have with the cap, the flexibility they have to build the roster that they want around McDavid, as well as now new head coach Mike Babcock, which I got to be honest, I am full on board with the Mike Babcock train. I know there was a lot of people that hate what he's done with players in the past and what he may even do with some of our players. Now, again, there is crossing a line when it comes to things like checking a guy's phone, making a guy, come on, get down, ball. Get down, ball. Get down, ball. Boom! Let's go, Clement. Come on, baby. Round it, round it, round it. Come on, you're going. Go home. Oof. All right, second and third. Here we go. Let's go, Ernie. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That is what I'm talking about. Blue Jays go up 2-0 here in the Canada Day game. Where is that score? There it is. Blue Jays go up 2-0 here on this illustrious day in Canada Day for the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's move that a bit. Perfect. All right. Oops. Oh my God. Boys, that's a big run there. We got second and third now, 2 outs. All right. Fresh count here for everybody. Oops. We got ball 1 here to the 8-hole hitter Sean Keys, who's DHing today. The boys are buzzing in Toronto. We got 2 runs. Again, for those that don't know, the Boss vs. BetGBT challenge. So far, both the Boss and the BetGBT machine are on track to hit their bets in terms of pace. Get out, ball. Get out. Get out. Bang! There it is. Let's go. Right as I was talking about it. We got the flag down, but that doesn't matter because it's Canada Day. We got our 8-hole DH, Sean Keys, who's had 4 minutes in the show, and he's just hit an opposite field 3-run home run on Canada Day to not only hit the Boss's bet as well. Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. Let's go. That's Blue Jays baseball right there. What an absolute monster of a hit by that boy Keys, who's just been absolutely dialed in so far on his time with the Blue Jays. He's wearing the illustrious 1-of-1 Canada Day home run jacket, making the Blue Jays go up 5 rip. Let's go change that score right now. Nothing like changing the score right away after you already changed it. All right. Boom. There it is. All right. Wow. We just got a wow from Sean Keys. Let's see. Now we got Jimenez up. We got a 1-0, 2-0 count now. Oops. 5-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the third. For those of you that are tuning in here Again, part of the boss's secret formula. Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. Bang, you can cash that one. A run in the first inning by either team. Bang, that's a cash. We got Ernie Clement, 2+ hits. We're already 1 hit down. Need another one. And of course, the fun bit of a long shot. Kirk, anytime home run. We're going to be taking a home run hitter every single game. All right, so 3-0 count to... Oh, no, that's a walk. Is that a walk? There we go. That's ball 4. Take your base. Jimenez on the plate. Now going to first. And looks like we're going to have a pitching change here. We're going to be right back on a short break for bottom of third, 2 outs after that 3-run Sean Keys home run. We fixed our Canada Day flag there. We are back in action as we have a 2-0 count here. Oops, to Nathan Lucas here, top of the lineup. Just got informed by our boy Shai Davidi of Toronto Blue Jays on his X account, tweeting out that it was in fact his first career home run by Sean Keys. What a day to do it. For those of you baseball fans watching, I mean, there's moments in life when you hit your first home run. Some of us may never have even hit one, but you can only imagine, like you did in the backyard, how cool of a feeling it is to hit your first major league home run or just first home run in any sport, as we have a 3-1 count now to Nathan Lucas. You got to think the Blue Jays Canada Day game at home, packed crowd to go up 5-0, a 3-run opposite field shot. Aside from a walk-off home run, all that kind of stuff, you know, a playoff home run being your first career one, that's up there in terms of illustrious first ever career home runs to be hit. The crowd's bumping, everybody's wearing red, everybody's chanting your name, now they know who you are. What a cool moment for Sean Keys here in this game going on here. So we've got a full count here. There we go. All right, grounded out to first. Again, we're going to take a little quick break. We fix the flag. We'll be right back for the top of the 4th. here, top of the fourth inning, as we make the changes here to reflect that. Blue Jays up 5-0 on the New York Mets here on this beautiful looking Canada Day game in Toronto, Ontario. We are set to go here as we keep things rolling. Let's do this. All right, so surround. Beautiful. All right, so we've got top of the fourth inning with a first pitch strike by Miles, who's come out of the pen against former Blue Jay Bo Bichette. There we go. Top of the fourth, blows the 96-mile-an-hour heater by him to have 0-2 count here to start the top of the fourth. For those of you just tuning in, welcome to the Big Screen Sports Podcast. It's your favorite host, the boss here, who's ready to bring you some exciting Blue Jays action all summer long. For those of you that are wanting to know and are joining the broadcast either for the first time or returning viewers, we welcome all and we thank you for joining as we have ball one to Bo Bichette in the top of the fourth. We are excited to have you. The next broadcast we will be doing is for the MLB Home Run Derby. I was tossing in turn between whether doing the All-Star Game or the Home Run Derby, but the Home Run Derby for you baseball fans like me is just one of those things that you got to tune in every year. It's a special kind of All-Star Game moment. They've changed it up where there's no clock. It's pitches now, which makes it more fun, I believe, going back to their roots. So that'll be the next Big Screen Sports broadcast. But for, quite frankly, right now, we're doing just pretty okay right now and pretty fantastic when it comes to this broadcast itself. We're going to be doing a lot of things here with strike three called on the corner to Bo Bichette here as we've got one out here in the top of the fourth. Our fourth inning broadcast topic we're going to be talking about throughout this fourth inning is Vladdy's second half outlook going into the post All-Star break here coming up very shortly in the next couple weeks. What his second half should look like, what his first half was like, and what needs to change, and all that sort of stuff. So we're here to talk Vladdy all fourth inning long as Lindor is up to bat with a first pitch strike called on him. Spencer Miles coming out of the pen after spot starter Braden Fisher dominated the first inning, giving up 0, and Spencer Miles has done nothing different here in terms of just carving up this Mets lineup that struggled, who just fired their manager and things like that. So for those just tuning in as well, the Boss versus BetGBT challenge. Bang, the Boss has already hit his. And of course, BetGBT with the Blue Jays money line here. Winning the challenge for the Boss so far. And of course, looking good for Lindor in the Blue Jays, in the money line as well. Oh, what's this? Oh, for those fans, we have a new message coming in here from our friend BetGBT. I wonder what this message is going to be. Let's see what we've got. From BetGBT himself, man, I cannot believe you might actually win this bet. Well, guess what? We already hit it. Our boy, Sean Keyes, first career home run coming out here and hitting his first career home run on an illustrious Canada Day game in front of a sold-out Blue Jays crowd, rocking the red, rocking the country here, proud on this Wednesday, off day for us people working, as unfortunately, that's ball 4 to Lindor, who will be on first base. All right. Let's get into it. Vladdy. I'm going to preface this by saying I am a huge fan of Vladdy. We just talked about him primarily in the first inning. Again, for those who may have missed it, the first inning topic was the MLB All-Star voting system being flawed and how fans are allowed to vote players in, even if they aren't the most qualified players at their position for their league that they represent. So Vladdy being in the All-Star voting for first base right now is a little bit of a tough look for the sport of baseball. I love it as a Blue Jays fan, as we have a ground ball here. Boom, come on, boom, there's one. Oh, he bobbled it. Oh, safe at 1. Thank God Vladdy caught it. All right. There's 2 outs right there. That's okay. Runner stays on first. So Vladdy was a part of the conversation in the first inning. Now we have to have the conversation here, the fourth thing, about him specifically and what his second half outlook needs to look like. So as of this moment right now, again, obviously the numbers slightly changed because he's already batted today, but before this game, he was hitting 268 with 4 home runs and 12 doubles. Now make that 13 doubles. So of course, we're talking success today for Vladdy with a double here in the game, which resulted in a single or a fielder's choice ground out RBI for Ernie Clement. Which again, for those of you that may not know, check it out. Boom, there's number 1. Cash, number 2, run the first inning. Cash, Ernie Clement, one of the 2 hits, and of course the long shot, Kirk to hit an anytime home run, which we'll have on every broadcast here. As we have Spencer Miles going for 2 strikes already with 2 outs, just dominating in this 4th inning. So Vladdy having a rough start to a season in terms of, we just talked about Darnell Nurse in the 3rd inning and how he's a good defenseman but not worth the price tag of $9 million. Of course, Vladdy's on year 2 of his huge extension deal. I'll say it was 14 years and about $500 million. I might be slightly off for both those numbers, but it's around that. And again, he's hitting 268, decent OPS, but people are saying, well, why are we complaining about Vladdy's output? Well, we did not sign Vladdy to $500 million to have him hit singles, right? It's doubles and home runs. He's a slugger. You paid him slugger money. We need him to slug, and he hasn't done that so far. He hasn't hit a home run at Rogers Center this year, which is, again, hopefully that changes today. He's coming off a back injury, so hopefully he can put one out. I mean, if you're good enough to play, you know, shout out Sciatica, my boy Jake Honky, who's watching along here, and maybe some other folks of you that are watching know about the Withrow Sciatica curse. Back issues are nothing to be troubled about, but let's hope coming into the second half that, you know what, maybe he can turn things around. So let's hope the back issue isn't that much to begin with. So that is the end of the 4th inning as Spencer Miles strikes out the batter. The Blue Jays have given up 1 hit so far between the Braden Fisher spot start and Spencer Miles. 3 innings of dominance, while we change the numbers here to reflect that going into the bottom of the 4th. All right. So one of the things that we here at Big Screen Sports like to do is to hyperbolize everything, right? We got to be eccentric. We got to be, you know, ooh, if he does this, no, we want to do big, bold claims. Shout out my boy Honky, who I love. I know is watching along just through probably the best line I've seen in the chat. Wow, with another banger line coming in here. Shouting out the sciatica. He says July is Sciatica Awareness Month. Massage guns charged when you need it. Fantastic story with our boy Honky. Whether he wants me to share it or not, I hope the world needs to know the kind of man and humanitarian he is. He used to grab the boss's ankles, put it on his foot, and just massage gun the shit out of his calves because the boss, you know, maybe still not in the best shape of his life playing university baseball. He was a team guy, leader, maybe not putting up the stats, putting up Vladdy-like stats without the home runs and doubles, but he used to massage gun the boss's calves to make sure he was in the best possible shape he could be going out for a little 9-inning baseball game, 18 innings in a day kind of thing. Shout out the CCBC. So shout out Honky, best line of the Big Screen Sports broadcast history so far. So I love him. He's the best. So that everybody else watching here, which I know there's a few of you, you had to know that because it's essential to the history. You can't tell the story of the boss without Jacob Honky and his massage gun. So shout him out. Getting back to Vladdy, which is hard to do now because now I'm just thinking about that. But talking about Vladdy, I want to know in the chat, anybody else out there, we're talking Vladdy. What do you think about his first half performance? What do you think he's going to do in the second half? What needs to change? Are you happy with his first half performance? And, in terms of him putting the ball in play, at least having a pretty good average, but just not putting up those big numbers as Vladdy takes strike 1. I think it's one of those that, yes, it's hard to see, our superstar slugging first baseman not have a home run in his own home ballpark so far to this point of the year. Again, he's not hitting 212 with 4 home runs, so there is some bright side there. He plays very good defense. He's still the leader of that locker room. From what I've seen and been told by the media, there's a fastball up and in. That'll shake the system there. But it is one of those, we were just talking about Nurse in the 3rd inning about how he is a good defenseman, just unfortunately not a $9 million defenseman, so people looked at him differently. But it's one of those, the same with Vladdy, and again, we're year 2 into a 14-year deal with him. He's the future face of the Blue Jays and current face of the Blue Jays, as I say that. It's just tough to see, especially as the Blue Jays are, few games below 500, just went to the World Series the year before as he swings at a terrible ball in the dirt, shakes his head, doesn't even run it out. We run balls out in this league, but I guess not in the major leagues. There's out number 1. Tough look as we're having this convo, but I need it to be that Vladdy, I don't want him to make the All-Star game. I want him to go out relax, enjoy his all-star break, whatever he does. Don't do the home run derby. Don't do any of that stuff. Rest up, get your body in shape. Fucking go to the Dominican, go to Bali, go to France, go to Australia, go somewhere, have a vacation, and just forget about baseball for a week or so, and then come back ready to go, ready to show people that this contract isn't bloated. It's still early, but it's not a bloated contract. I'm going to be the superstar player you've seen me play like. As we have Okamoto with a 1-1 count right now. Went out in the bottom of the fourth, who has been nothing but phenomenal for this team. But I want to know in the chat, let me know what your thoughts are on Vladdy so far this year, what your thoughts are on the Vladdy contract, obviously coming off of a World Series appearance last year and helping lead the way there, lead this team all the way to a World Series appearance. And again, what do you think is going to change in the second half, what your predictions are, all that sort of stuff, because it's important to know what the future face of this team is. For those of you that don't know, again, we want to give a shout out to those that I see coming in and out here of the broadcast. We welcome all new viewers. We thank all the returning viewers that are coming back here to the Big Screen Sports broadcast with the boss. I want to give a shout out to our baseball boys and girls in the chat right now that know the history of the illustrious Bobby Bonilla. We want to wish you a happy Bobby Bonilla Day here from the Big Screen Sports crew. It is one of the best storylines in all of sports. In a feel-good story, if you're not a Mets fan, of course. And, of course, being good timing that the Blue Jays are playing the Mets here on Canada Day. I don't think there's a coincidence there. The Bobby Bonilla story is one of my favorite stories in sports that just makes me laugh every single year it comes up. And it's one of those that brings me a lot of joy. So I want to wish all of our baseball viewers out there that are watching the broadcast that know the Bobby Bonilla story, happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Okay. We're talking right now Vladdy's second half outlook. We want you to tune into the whole broadcast, but I know you got to go maybe cook some meals. Maybe you got to go lay down with the wife. Maybe you got to, go shopping, do some errands. So we want to show you the broadcast topics for today's game and maybe help allow you to plan when to leave during the broadcast. Or if you want to stick through the whole thing, we will welcome nothing else other than that. We've got the next inning will be LeBron's new team and where we think he's going to end up, as Okamoto does a check swing ground out along the first base foul line. Out number 2. We've got the underrated celebrity crushes. I'm interested to see some of you folks. Again, hopefully there's some female viewers on here, or at least male viewers that are asking the girlfriend beside them watching the Big Screen Sports broadcast what the celebrity crushes are. And when I say underrated, I mean underrated. It's not the Sydney Sweeneys and the Megan Foxes. Let's get some below under the radar kind of picks that may keep some people shocked and surprised there. So let's do that. All right, so that's what we have for the broadcast topics. Again, those just tuning in here, we've got 2 outs here. We've got 1 strike on the play. 2, Varsho hitting the 4-hole ground ball up the middle. We got a ground ball made by the second baseman. End of the 4th inning. We're going to take a quick small break here as we get into the top of the 5th inning. back as Vladdy has just picked up another incredible diving play. Patrick Corbin in the game, coming in the relief mode, out of the bullpen. What a play by Vladdy. That is how you do it. There we go. All right, just fixing this here. There we go. We got 1 out on the play. Top of the 5th. Let's go and change that here. Welcome back to the Big Screen Sports broadcast here. I'm your host, the boss, as we take on here and another incredible Blue Jays game on Canada Day, as we have strike one here to the 8-hole baddie hitter. Here are the broadcast topics we've talked about here. We're just talked about Vladdy's second half outlook. We're going to be talking now about LeBron James and where he's going to end up for those that may be thinking what's going to happen with him. So it's a lot of exciting stuff, as well as in the 8th inning, we've switched around the worst things about summer with the Markstrom story. So stay tuned for that fun one as well, as we get into some more of the fun sort of topics here as we get into the second half of this game, as we have a now 1-2 count to the 8-hole hitter. Welcome back to the broadcast. It's your favorite host, the boss here, who's more than excited to be sharing this special day with you because it's Canada Day. It's an annual tradition. It's none other. It's the best day of the year, as we have strikeout by Corbin here to now have 2 outs in the inning as we get back into the swing of things here in the Blue Jays game. All right. I got a couple Celebrity Crush pictures ready to go. I'm just adding them here. So I may be a little distracted because I forgot to add them, but bear with me here as we do so. There we go. Okay, Patrick Corbin's throwing the first pitch strike, foul ball off there. Which one was it? There we go. Oh, damn it. I don't want to see it. There we go. All right. Little spoiler there if you saw it, but that's okay, because guess what? It's part of the gig. We're learning here. It's the first broadcast back in a while. Didn't have the quite preparation, but that's okay, because guess what? We are ready to go here. Let's see. Don't look. Nope. All right. Change that. There we go. Oh, let's go. Backdoor play at second base for the 3rd out. Nathan Lucas with the incredible play here. They're checking to review it. Not going to take a look at it going into the bottom of the 5th. All right. While you stick around here, want to know LeBron James going to a new team. It's exciting stuff. Let me just do this. There we go. Don't look. If you're watching, turn away. For God's sakes. Doesn't matter. You can see it. We're going to share it later. All right. So, LeBron James, done with the Lakers. Who would have thought he's going to move on to another team? So lots of different opportunities here for LeBron James, where he's going to end up. It's a tough one because, some people are saying he's going to go back to Miami, go back to Cleveland. I truly believe this is what's going to happen. Hear me out. Not an NBA guy, but I like seeing the big storylines. The NBA is good for chaotic things to happen. And of course, LeBron James, is kind of the face of the league. Unfortunately, I've never been a LeBron James guy myself. Let me know in the chat. Whether you're a LeBron James guy, you're a Michael Jordan guy, you've never been a basketball guy, that's okay. Just share your thoughts and opinions in the game on what you think is, what kind of stance you have on LeBron James and who he is as a player in this league. So I'm going to say this. Here, my hypothetical. We like to go crazy, bold predictions, all that sort of stuff, especially in the NBA. It might actually come true of all the leagues that we talk about with crazy rumors and things like that. I think LeBron James is going to be a Warrior. Now, process that. Do what you will with it. Crazy statement. He's going to be a Warrior. Golden State. Why? Well, it's not because I think he's going to follow in the steps of Kevin Durant and go and trying to win a championship. But maybe it is. I don't think LeBron James wants to just play a year where he's not kind of guaranteed to be a contender in that conference, that he goes and plays in, and not have a chance to win one more championship to cement his legacy in his mind as the greatest basketball player of all time. So the Warriors isn't a crazy reason for that. The other reason, in terms of just pure lineup hypotheticals, Draymond Green is not re-signing in Golden State in terms of, maybe he does, but at least he's not re-signing or took the option of his contract, whatever it is. As we have ball one here in the bottom of the fifth to, I think it was Kirky. There it is, our boy Kirky. Again, for those, as I'm distracting myself here, all over the place. Here are the picks, including an anytime Kirk home run. That would be electric right now. Seeing that from Kirky hitting an anytime home run here in this game. So, like I mentioned, we've got talking about LeBron James and what his legacy and where he's going to end up. I think it's Golden State. I think he wants to go win a championship, be, Curry's sidekick, so to speak, and help him get to another championship, cement his legacy as the greatest basketball player of all time. Draymond Green not returning, which is probably a big salary cap advantage for Golden State Warriors. I don't think that Golden State Warriors are afraid to spend money and do things like that. Obviously, they went and got Kevin Durant once. They're probably not afraid to go out and get LeBron James and treat him like the king he is. I don't know if there's any, non-power market cities that he would ever go to. Like, let's say, as Kirk takes ball 4 and takes his base, I don't think, he would go to, let me see, a Houston. I don't think he would go to, where else? Where's a market that's like a Milwaukee? He wouldn't do a non-top 5, top 7 sports market in the league team in that case. Would he go to Boston? Maybe. I don't know. But I think if I had to go gun to my head, my prediction, I think he's going to end up a Golden State Warrior. Again, he could go to Miami again. He could go to Cleveland. There's a lot of possibilities on the table. Lots of younger teams that maybe would need an older guy like him to come in and, that the management would be like, we'll throw you a bag of money. Just come teach our young guys how to play and act like professionals. But again, I think my number one thing is it's not going to be a market that's not like a prominent market in this day and age in sports. I think it's going to be somewhere popular in a popular city, popular state in the U.S. So I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors. Let me know in the chat what your thoughts are on where LeBron James is going to end up as we ground into a double play here. Unfortunately, Penango hit into a double play here, but that's okay. Not the end of the world as we have, 2 outs now in the bottom of the fifth. LeBron James, for those that don't know and maybe are looking it up, leaving the Lakers, he's going into his 24th season, which to me is one of those things that it's so impressive in any sport. You see these guys playing for 20 plus years, the amount of money he spends on his money to make sure that he's willing to play, the 60 to 70 games a year he plays. Because again, he doesn't play every game, but plays as many as he can because he's one of those guys that, when he wants to have the young kids come out and watch him. But 24 years in the NBA is just ridiculous to me and something that's impressive as Ernie Clement grounds to shortstop for the end of the inning. We're going to take a quick break here going into the top of the 6th and be right back. All right, we are back here with the top of the 6th inning. Let's make the changes here to the personally customized score bug by yours truly, the boss here. Bear with me until we get a producer. We will be doing this by hand, which I'm perfectly okay with. But here's where we stand here in the top of the 6. We've already done some good topics. LeBron James' new team. I said he's going to be a Warrior. Let me know in the chat if you missed the 5th inning broadcast topic. Feel free to throw in your LeBron James destination, location, Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors, wherever you think he's going to end up. As we have Patrick Corbin coming out throwing strike one here in the top of the 6th. We've also got the boss winning his part of the boss versus BetGBT challenge of the Blue Jays hitting over 4.5 runs. We're at 5 right now. Can't go down from there, so that part of the challenge is successful. While BetGBT has the Blue Jays money line that's looking good so far here. And of course, you know, it's tough not to say, oh, another new message from BetGBT. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at what he said. BetGBT says, as much as it pains me to say, congratulations. Well, that is quite the quote here from our rival here in the Boss vs. BetGBT Challenge, and I will take that every day of the week because that feels fantastic to hear that from a rival as we have a 1-2 count here on the leadoff hitter on the Mets going into the top of the 6th. And for those of you that may not have seen yet, I'll share with you again. The boss's secret formula for bets today is the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. That has hit already, obviously, as well as in the BetGBT Challenge. A run in the first inning. Ernie Clement 2+ hits, has 1 hit away from that happening. And of course, the long shot anytime home run that we pick every Blue Jays broadcast. The Kirk anytime home run. Oops. All right, full count here, none away. Patrick Corbin facing the lefty leadoff hitter for the Mets, and fastball up and in, the MLB Show Classic as Vladdy underhand tossed it to Corbin. That's out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. All right, so, oops. Okay, so the broadcast topic here for the 6th inning, it's in a special one. Before I share with you my underrated celebrity crushes, I've got a couple here queued up photos ready to go. I've got my phone Safari open, ready to search up any underrated celebrity stars and crushes that I may not know of, because I don't want to say I know them all, but as a single bachelor, I probably know most. So let's hear in the chat your guys' underrated celebrity crushes. And there's no wrong answers here. Now, try and avoid the Sydney Sweeneys and Megan Foxes of the world. And try and have that one TV show you used to watch as a kid where you're like, man, that chick was hot and nobody ever knew who she was outside that show. You know, maybe it's the T-Mobile girl from the States, the commercials with the huge bononkers. Doesn't matter. Pick a celebrity crush that you're like, man, nobody's ever heard of her, and I'm going to share her with them. Maybe not never heard of, but like not a popular choice when somebody says celebrity crushes. We've got 2 strikes already here to the 2-hole hitter in Soto, as ball 1 has been thrown up and in from Patrick Corbin. Celebrity crushes are a funny thing, man. It happens all the time where, you know, you get your boys together, you get a couple beers, get some food in there. Oh, what just happened? Oh, there we go. Okay, 2-2 count. Just lost my internet there for a second, but we're all right. Hopefully everybody's still safe here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast as the ball is thrown low and away. Incredible eye by Soto. Celebrity crushes are fun to me because I'm always an outside the box thinker. You know, when everybody asks, you know, favorite fast food or favorite celebrity crush or, you know, favorite artist or band, I always, you know, you can give the pandering, you know, if you're like favorite artist, you can say Drake, that's fine. You won't be judged, but I always like to come up with the ones where nobody's ever thinking. I like to think outside the box. So underrated celebrity crushes, we were talking about it in the office the other day. So why not do it here as we had a fly out by Soto to go 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. This game's absolutely flying by, and you know why I'm excited, because I get to finally see my boy Honky after this broadcast. We're going to get together, have some beers, talk Blue Jays baseball, talk celebrity crushes, talk every single thing about it. We're going to have some fun here for the remainder of the Big Screen Sports broadcast. And I want to make sure I share with you that are still tuning in here. We much appreciate everybody that's tuning in here to the Big Screen Sports broadcast to check out our social media here. On social media, Instagram, TikTok, X. Follow us on social media at Big Screen Sports. For X, it's just Big Screen Sport with no S. So make sure you tune in for that here as we have a 1-1 count to former Blue Jay Bo Bichette. I want to share with you as well. You may have missed at the start of the show. Obviously, Patrick Corbin and the Blue Jays have been absolutely dealing. I think they've only given up 1 or 2 hits. I'll have to check the box score between innings. But here are the top 3 pitchers so far, in my opinion, on the Blue Jays staff. As we have strike 2 to Bo Bichette. Louis Varland is my favorite pitcher on the Blue Jays, without a doubt. Cease is a very close second, just because I knew when we signed him, and I've seen his work in the MLB as a baseball follower myself, I knew Pete Walker was going to come in and just revolutionize everything that he was struggling with in San Diego. He's been dominant, but Louis Varland, I said it at the start of the year. I said, based on last year and everything that happened, as we have a slow roller, 1 hopper to first base throw by Okamoto to get Bo Bichette, as we go into the bottom of the 6th here, still up 5-0 on the Canada Day inaugural traditional game here in Toronto. Louis Varland, I said at the start of the year, and it's hard because there's no physical documentation that I took to say that Louis Varland was going to be our closer, but I said it from last year in the playoff run. I said Louis Varland is the best reliever in this bullpen when healthy. I said you have to give him a shot to be the closer next year. Obviously, you got to keep Jeff Hoffman because he was our closer that got us to the World Series, but obviously Jeff Hoffman struggled throughout the year, and now Louis Varland dominating. He was the pitcher of the month in May alongside our Cade Smith of the Cleveland Guardians, their closing pitcher, but he has been absolutely dominant so far. Just an incredible season that has been something to watch for us Blue Jays fans. So all right, so we're halfway through, middle of the 2nd inning. We got a commercial. Before we get back to the baseball action, I want to ask you one last time, for those of you watching, make sure you put in the chat. Let's get some interaction. Let's get some discussion going. We got a fun topic. Ask your girlfriend sitting beside you. Ask whoever is in the room to share an underrated celebrity crush, male, female, doesn't matter to us. We don't judge here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast, so that we can get some good, fun interaction and see what kind of, sexual creatures that we are all interested in and hooked on. So it's one of those that I want you to share in the chat, and then I'll share mine here as we get going here at the end of the commercial break, going into the bottom of the 6th inning here on July 1st, in an illustrious Canada Day celebration here. We're going to take a quick break for 1 minute before we come back to the action. We've got the 8-hole hitter Sean Keys, who hit his first home run earlier in this game to take the lead up to 5-0. An incredible moment for a gentleman who has been a great part of the organization and has now gotten a chance to hit a home run, his first ever career home run in the major leagues, in front of a sold-out Canada Day crowd. I was saying it earlier for those that may be tuning into the Big Screen Sports podcast today just now. That there may be no better feeling in the world, aside from a walk-off home run or a playoff home run for your first career home run, than Canada Day at Rogers in Toronto, hitting a 3-run home run opposite field. Unfortunately, he grounds out here for the first out of the inning, but that's okay. So, celebrity crushes. I've got 2, and these are 2 that I like to think that are underrated, but I want to share your thoughts. Maybe they're rated properly, or maybe they're overrated even in some people's minds, but I know one for sure is underrated based on the TV show I used to watch as a kid, and one is just hot. They're both hot. That's why they're crushes, right? So we've got a pitcher injury timeout right now, so no better time than to show the very first one here. In one that I don't watch the show anymore, but it was a childhood celebrity crush, and I knew as a young boy watching the show, not often, but enough as a kid, that she was going to grow up to be hot, and she is hot, and she is underrated. It's Emily Osment here, just an unbelievably good looking woman. She's in that show, Mandy and whatever it's called, the marriage show, the post Sheldon, the post Big Bang Theory show, whatever that one's called. Was in Hannah Montana, the show I'm referring to as a kid. Just unbelievably attractive to me. I'm a guy who's into the blondes, I'm into the bust, I'm into the legs, I'm into the hips, I'm into the figures, I'm into all that stuff. I'm not afraid to say it here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast. And she's one of those underrated celebrity crushes that every time I see a video of a clip of the show, anything like that, it gets me going. That's what we do. That's celebrity crushes. They get you going. And I like the idea of celebrity crushes being the underrated ones, because I don't want to say I have hope one day, but it's definitely more hope than a Sydney Sweeney, right? So that's my first one. My second one, nobody's going to remember this unless you were a fan of the show. One of my favorite shows of all time, probably top 5. Just one of those, every time I watch the show, took my breath away. Again, into the blondes, into all of that, everything about her. AJ Cook, Criminal Minds. I mean, look at that woman. Look at her. That's unbelievable woman right there. That is JJ in the show Criminal Minds, and Jennifer Giroux. Just an absolute stunner of a woman on the Criminal Minds TV show. So I showed you mine. You show me yours. Let's see and hear in the chat. Just text it to me, send it to me privately. It doesn't matter how you get it to the boss. Let's hear what your celebrity crushes are, because I want to know some underrated celebrity crushes out there. I know my boy Honky, whether he's still watching, he's got the Ella Langley. I don't know if that's underrated, but I know my boy's got some underrated celebrity crushes out there. And anybody else listening who hasn't chimed in the chat, no better time to chime in the chat right now. Send the boss a DM, send the boss a text, than to say, boss, I'm ready to interact. Here's my celebrity crush. So we're going into commercial break. Missed a couple outs because I'm got to be honest, I got excited talking about my underrated celebrity crushes. So we're going into the bottom of the, or top of the 7th inning. So let's change that right here. We weren't even going to take a break. We've got some fan mail coming in here, so I'll share that here shortly. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see if we want to share those or not. But yeah, we've got some viewers on here watching. It's good to see. We're going into the top of the 7th inning. I want to remind you folks, as I change here, the inning for the Blue Jays game. Blue Jays up 5, rip here. The broadcast topics, we just finished the underrated celebrity crushes, but I will allow it going into the 7th inning if you've got some underrated celebrity crushes here. And then all right, okay, so a couple are coming in here, just finding out if they want the name shouted out or just shout out the celebrity themselves. So we will find that out here shortly. So Blue Jays, what am I missing here? Oh, did I jump the gun? Should be top 7, right? Doesn't matter. Hey, another thing I want to share with you folks, make sure you go and check it out here. Follow us on social media at Big Screen Sports on Instagram, TikTok, X.com, at Big Screen Sports here. No better time to follow Big Screen Sports. We're getting back into the swing of things. We're going to have a plan here. The next Big Screen Sports broadcast is going to be the MLB Home Run Derby. I believe it's on the 14th, which is the Sunday night, I believe. But don't believe me on that. Check yourself. But it will be announced here as we get closer to the game. The MLB Home Run Derby, one of the most fun things baseball fans watch and look forward to every year. And then again, make sure you check out the boss on X, Big Screen Boss, tweeting out all the time here. We'll be tweeting out after the game, every game, all that sort of stuff. Anything that comes up that's tweetable, check it out at Big Screen Sports here on the broadcast. All right. We've got lots of red jerseys here in the Blue Jays crowd, a sold-out crowd, I would imagine, for the illustrious annual Canada Day game between the Toronto Blue Jays and their American foe. In this case, happens to be the New York Mets. For those of you just tuning in now to the Big Screen Sports broadcast, we've got Bobby Bonilla Day. Shout out Bobby Bonilla, one of the funniest stories in all of sports, and one of the greatest moments for a man who had a long-term deferred contract, is still getting paid. I believe the contract was signed in the 90s, still getting paid to this day. He collects his annual paycheck today, and I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but if you look it up, you will find out the amount he gets paid on every single day of this year, or of the every single day of the year, this day today. So happy Bobby Bonilla Day for all of those that celebrate. We've also got the Boss First Bet GBT challenge. The Boss has already hit the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs here. And of course, the Blue Jays are looking to win this game, up 5-0 going into the top of the 7th. So we've got a lot of exciting moments here. Oh my God, it is the bottom of 6. Did I skip an entire inning? I must have. See, I got excited talking celebrity crushes. That's what we do here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast. I might have actually, let me see here. Okay, well, they keep showing the fans. Is it the 6th inning? Is it not the 6th inning? It might have been it was an injury replacement. All right, that makes sense. I thought I was just, let's change that here. Get back to the 6th because that makes more sense with 1 out. All right, there we go. That makes more sense. We're back. Here we go. The Boss is back. All right. Jimenez up to bat here. Ball 1 to the slugging shortstop here. All right. So, all right. I got to look up the name because they said the character's name, but I can't remember the actual name of the actress off the top of my head. So let me look it up here. From the same TV show that brought you AJ Cook. A fan submitted, want to remain synonymous, Paget Brewster. I don't have a photo up prepared, so you're going to have to look that one up yourself. Paget Brewster of Criminal Minds. Also a very attractive woman coming in from the fan submissions texted here on the Big Screen Sports broadcast. Much appreciated. And then another one here is from the same TV show. Again, I don't know if these people are actually having these celebrity crushes or they just remember the TV show. From the same TV show that brought you Emily Osment, they this fan submitted as well. Anonymous said Miley Cyrus, and I'm not gonna lie, that's a good underrated pick because quite the looker for sure, but not one that people think of off the top of their head when it comes to celebrity crushes. So appreciate our fans sending in the text to shout out their underrated celebrity crushes, or at least give me props for mine, whatever the case is. I'll take both. As we have here 2 outs now in the bottom of the 6th, with Nathan Lucas coming up, who's 2 for 3 with 2 singles and a run so far to this date. All right, so let's talk about this. Kawhi Leonard is a Raptor again. As you mentioned, here's the broadcast topics. Let's get into the Kawhi is a Raptor again. Obviously, if you still have your underrated celebrity crushes, feel free to submit them because, again, we want to be talking about the fun stuff throughout these Big Screen Sports broadcasts. For some of you fans who I know are texting are definitely not Blue Jays fans, or just supporting the boss here on the resurgence of the Big Screen Sports broadcast, which we thank very much for. But let's talk a little Kawhi Leonard becoming a Toronto Raptor again, while the celebrity crush, maybe you're thinking about it, maybe you're processing, maybe you're picking the right one that you want to submit here for the Big Screen Sports broadcast Q&A, as we have a 1-2 count now to Nathan Lucas here, bottom of the 6th inning, as this game's flying by on this beautiful Canada Day. Kawhi Leonard being a Raptor again. Now, the one thing that I read, as I prepared this broadcast topic, a lot of Raptors fans and NBA fans, at least Canadian Raptors fans, are very upset. No, he did not go. Good. Ball 2. A lot of Raptors fans are not happy with the package being sent to the Clippers for Kawhi Leonard for 2 reasons. One, it's Brandon Ingram, who's a very good all-star caliber player for the Raptors, probably the best player on the Raptors at this moment. And as unfortunately Nathan Lucas strikes out, but we're going to keep this thing rolling here into what I like to call now, that I preemptively said, the top of the 7th inning, as we're going to change that here. So the package for Kawhi Leonard was definitely a lot for people to, swallow with Brandon Ingram being one of the best players on the team and an all-star. You got to give up your best player sometimes and do a best player swap, but also giving up Grady Dick, who's been a very good first round draft pick the last couple of years. Very good role player for the Toronto Raptors and what they were trying to do. Obviously not a great Raptors teams, but still a very good player. And 3 first round picks as well in swaps kind of thing. So a lot to give up for a Kawhi Leonard, who unfortunately a guy like Kawhi Leonard is not going to play for a team friendly contract. His contract is up after this year, so unless the Raptors are thinking we're going for it this year and then we'll figure it out after that, then a long-term play doesn't make the most sense, because I'm sure Kawhi Leonard getting to his age isn't going to sign for that much less, and it's a lot to give up, a couple young players included, for an older player who has had injury troubles in the past. So as we get into the top of the 7th here, we want to talk a little Kawhi Leonard on the Raptors as well as celebrity crushes. So if you have either, make sure you throw it in the chat alongside anything else from any of these topics earlier in the day. If you're just tuning in now, make sure you throw in your topics of what we've talked about here on the list as we get ready for the first pitch of the 7th inning. Okay, so for those that don't know, let's check out the top 3 pitchers from the boss's picks of the Blue Jays this season. We got Kevin Gausman, Dylan Cease, and Louis Varland. The top 3 pitchers so far. Louis Varland's easily my favorite pitcher on the Blue Jays. Dylan Cease is a very, very close second. I do like Gausman as well. Probably 3 of my favorite pitchers as well, but I'm a huge Max Scherzer guy. But in terms of best and top pitchers the Blue Jays have had this year in consistency and output, these are the top 3 guys, and you can see their stats below. And then we'll bring up as well the top 3 hitters, as Patrick Corbin in his 3rd inning of work throwing the first pitch strike to Francisco Lindor. Oops. There we go. Top 3 hitters, we got Ernie Clement, going to be the all-star representative for the American League at second base. Francisco Lindor grounds out to second base to Jimenez. Easy throw to first. That is the first out of the inning. We got Okamoto, who there's lots of different nicknames for him, so you can choose your favorite one, but I like the Okamoto just regular name. It's a great name. He's hitting 236, but has 19 home runs, clearly leading the team in that category and hitting 780 OPS. And then a lot of people may not like this Jesus Sanchez pick as my top 3 pick, but in terms of consistency and all-around hitting, in terms of slugging as well as average, he's been doing a great job, having a 753 OPS, one of the team leaders and top leaders in that category as well. For those that are just tuning in as well, make sure you check us out on social media during and after this broadcast, and make sure you subscribe to that YouTube too. So follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X at Big Screen Sports. For X, it's at Big Screen Sport with no S. And of course, we're going to check out some other things as well. I want to share some stats here. Kawhi Leonard thing, little bit of a topic filler, but it was a big news back in the day, but I think lots of it has come down since this broadcast. So I want to share with you some stats for this broadcast here. For those that don't know, the first ever Canada Day played was back in 1977 on this day. That many years ago, almost 50 years ago now, 49 years ago. Having a incredible tradition every single Canada Day game. The Blue Jays have played at home, and it's been something the MLB has done a great job of allowing us to celebrate our day by hosting our formidable American foe, whoever that may be, on the given day in a Canada Day rivalry matchup, and allowing us to do that while we go on the road somewhere in the States, of course, for their holiday of July 4th. Blue Jays are up 5-0. We got a full count here. Hold on. There we go. Full count, 1 out here. Blue Jays in the top of the 7th. Another incredible thing, too, you're probably thinking, how many Canada Day games? Well, it actually wasn't 49, because there have been a few Canada Day games that, haven't been played. We'll get to that later with some Canada Day trivia here as we get into the later part of the broadcast for those that are sticking around. Another incredible leap and grab by Vladdy. So the Blue Jays have played 45 Canada Day games in the history of the franchise. Like I mentioned, the first one being back in 1977. So we now have 2 outs here in the top of the 7th after a nice little leap and grab by Vladdy to catch that hot line drive coming down the first baseline. Honky knows that's a play that the boss makes at first place for the Hawks every single time, every single day of the week. So Vladdy just playing the stellar defense that the boss used to play as well. And so we got some trivia as well. So I want to present to you a couple trivia questions here. Once I find them, we'll share this first one here. Blue Jays candidate trivia. Which 3 years since the Blue Jays inaugural season did they not play on July 1st, like I mentioned? Having 3 games not played in the history of the Blue Jays. So there are the options there. We'll give you some time to, think about it. Number 40 has the fastest first step in the league. Thank you, Honky. I appreciate you. If it wasn't for those loose calves, that wouldn't be the case. So shout out my strength and conditioning coach and Jake Honky, or as I like to call him, just Honky, not Jacob, for those others listening. So there's the first trivia question here, and we'll give you the second one as well, so you have time to think about both. What was the unusual aspect of the 2021 Blue Jays Canada Day game? It was played in Montreal, it was played in Buffalo, played in Vancouver, or it was canceled. So share your answers here in the chat, and then we will reveal the answers here in another inning or so as we get wrapped up here with 2 outs and 2 strikes here in the inning. Short grounder. Patrick Corbin picks it up with the glove. Shouldn't have done that, but we got the out as we go into the bottom of the 7th inning here. Still up 5 runs. We're going to take a very, very quick break and be right back with you. We are back here in the bottom of the 7th inning here with the Blue Jays only giving up 2 hits and scoring 5 runs thanks to a Sean Keys 3-run home run, his first career home run. We are mentioning it early in the broadcast for those of you just joining in for the first time of this broadcast. We both welcome you and mention that we are talking about no more illustrious moment as a Blue Jays player, rather other than a walk-off first career home run or a playoff first career home run. A home run in a Canada Day game in a Blue Jays red uniform's got to be up there in terms of best feelings and best moments to hit your first career home run, as Vladdy takes strike 1 here in this at-bat. So we've got some things as well. Share your celebrity crushes. A couple others were coming in here. They were sharing probably not the best answers to give because they weren't really celebrity crushes, just guys being guys being dudes, but that's okay. So and then we were talking Kawhi Leonard and stuff. So if you have any thoughts on any of these topics we've already talked about here, we've got the worst things about summer in the 3rd inning is now going to be in the 8th inning. So we will be talking about that here shortly as this next inning wraps up, and share your thoughts on that. But That's what we've got so far. So, all right, let's see. Vladdy's battling here as he's got a 2-2 count. Again, share anything you want in the chat if you've got some things you want to chat about, some topics that maybe are hot in the press. We were just talking earlier in the game as we were breaking the news. Darnell Nurse has been traded officially to the San Jose Sharks for a couple of players. And of course, the big news coming out of that trade, the Oilers are not retaining a single cent of his $9.25 million salary this season, or cap hit this season, whatever you call it. So that is huge news for the Oilers, allowing them to have some more cap flexibility to go get the players they need to surround McDavid, Draisaitl, and the fellas. And then, of course, the Oilers acquiring the Blue Sabres goalie Devin Levi for a third-round pick. Haven't done my research on Devin Levi and all that stuff, but again, if the Oilers are going out and getting goalies and trading for things, then I love it, because that's what we need to do for the Oilers, is get the goaltending to a level that is at least good enough, like back in the Skinner days where he wasn't an elite goalie, but he was good enough to be able to get us to the Stanley Cup final and get us within a goal of, winning and hoisting that cup. So we got to find the room to do that again for next season. So we got Vladdy in a full count here. We were talking about him a few times throughout the broadcast. The first time talking about the MLB All-Star system being flawed and that it needs to change, as Vladdy takes ball 4 here, hitting on first base. So one of the things that we also talked about as well with Vladdy is his second half performance and what he's going to look like. It's excuse me, it's one of those that, as a guy who signed a $500 million contract for 14 years, whatever the numbers were, I'm pretty close, I think, but maybe off slightly. You gotta hit home runs, you gotta hit doubles. I mean, he hit a double today, which is great. Obviously, the big screen sports bump, as we like to call it, as soon as we talk about the guy, as Okamoto goes the other way, getting down in the gap, that's off the wall. That's off the wall. Get on your horse. Let's go. Boys are buzzed. No way they got Okamoto. Come on. Who's doing the camera angles? I did not see any of that. Did you guys see that? Whoever's watching this game right now and just saw that, the camera angle of Sportsnet was horrendous. We have Vladdy rounding into third, and then the camera pans over to second base, and the umpire's ringing Okamoto out at second. You got to have a camera angle on second base so we can see that live happening in the moment. Oh my God. What a throw. Yeah, you're donezo. That's tough. That is a perfect throw. And he's off the bag too. Yeah, that's tough. All right, so we've got Vladdy on third with 1 out. Infield in for the Mets, down 5-0 here, as we've got Varsho lefty on lefty with a Perez throwing 98 miles an hour on the mound here for ball 1. Yeah, we've got some other topics and stuff to talk about as well. We'll get into the fun one I'm looking forward to see what kind of answers we get here from people in the chat, like our boy Jake Honky, and maybe some others that are just tuning in on what the worst things about summer are. So start thinking about your answers now, and we'll share them later in the 8th inning, as well as some other things like some fun trivia, including these ones that are Canada Day specific. So make sure you check it out. Which 3 years since the Blue Jays inaugural season did they not play on July 1st on Canada Day? As Varsho lines the ball up the middle, that's a 6-run lead right there. Vladdy trots home. That's how you do it. Varsho on third, or on first base there. Incredible. That's what we're talking about. Let's change that home score here to put up a 6 spot in this Canada Day special game here. For those, again, that are mentioned, maybe missed it at the start, we've got the boss who's already hit his the boss versus BetGBT challenge. For those that don't know, it's the boss asks ChatGBT, which he likes to call BetGBT for this specific scenario, on what his favorite bet of the game is. He picked the Blue Jays money line, as we have Alejandro Kirk challenging the first pitch of his at bat for a strike. And then, of course, the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs was mine. Cashed that one pretty early in the game thanks to the Sean Keys first career home run. We've got an ABS challenge. That is called a strike. That's a tough look there. Nicks the corner. Oof, that is just barely touching that corner there. That does not get any closer from our catcher there. So tough look there. As you can see here on the score bug, we're going to get rid of one of the challenges here to now have one challenge remaining for the ABS challenges, the automated balls and strikes, as Kirky hits a Judy the other way. second baseman ball was it. Varsho gets back to second. That is what I like to see here, as we've got now runners at first and second, one away, with Penango, who's 0 for 3, coming up to the plate. Again, reminder for those, there is the trivia question. We'll show the other one as well, and then we will, where is it here? We will show you the answer here some point later in the next inning or the ninth inning, depending on how many answers we get for it. So make sure you share those answers with us. All right. We've got first and second, bottom of the seventh, one away. Blue Jays up 6-0. Let's just have some fun here and celebrate the best day in Blue Jays regular seasons in Canada Day game at home. Look at all the red. Take a look at that fucking, incredible venue in Toronto. The Rogers Arena, Rogers Place, Rogers Center. It's Rogers. It's Toronto. It's the Blue Jays. What a venue. Rocking the red. The Blue Jays are having a hell of a game, shutting out the Mets, while we have first and second Miles Straw up to bat here, pinch hitting in the 6th spot for, I don't know who, but I can't remember, but he's pinch hitting and takes a first pitch strike. All right. Some other things as well we want to share with you, the fans, and make sure you do for us. Follow us on social media. It's easy. Go to @BigScreenSports on either Instagram, TikTok, and on X, it's @BigScreenSport with no S. Let's do that right away. Let's also do the Big Screen Sports, the boss, on X, as Miles Straw hits a deep fly to left. That ball is gone. Gone. Let's go. Boom. That's a home run. 9-0 Blue Jays. That's how you dominate a baseball game here on Canada Day. So let's go and change that score to reflect how we really want it to look. We've got a 9 spot now on the New York Mets. What a way to showcase the talents here of this team. Let's see here. There we go. Change that up a bit. Each number is a little different, but we've got a 9-0 lead. Miles Straw's getting the jacket on. What a Canada Day game of baseball. The first ever Blue Jays broadcast, and we're getting some of the best action here on a 9-0 game. The Blue Jays have been playing like dog shit all first half, and we just get an absolute offensive outburst from our boys in red today. Miles Straw going deep, pulling the ball to left field. What a day here. As we still have only one out in the bottom of the 7th, and they're keeping that lefty up here this inning. So we've got Ernie Clement up to plate. For those that don't know, we've still got a lot of things to ride on here, including we had the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs, the BetGBT challenge with the boss. Boom, that cash. So we've got a run in the first inning, that cash. We've got Ernie Clement, who's got 1 hit here. So let's see if he can get that second hit as he goes down 0-2 in this count here. Come on. All right. For those that don't know as well, let's pop it up. The prop of the game, a little baseball stress ball. We need a prop in the game for stressful moments when you need a bet to hit, because we got money riding on this. Oh, foul ball. All right. All right, here we go. Come on. We got it. Come on, Ernie. Need you to get a hit. Need you to get a hit. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Oh, need this. Need this. Oh, ball outside. All right, we've got a 2-2 count. Come on. Ernie. Sweating. I'm sweating right now. For those that know me, it's not that hard to come by, but there's a little money riding on this. It would help. It would help. Bang. That's a hit. Let's go. That's a base hit for Ernie. Put it on the board. Put him on first. He's going for 2. Doesn't matter. Oh my God, what a slide. Check it. No. Check it. Take a look at it. You never know. That's close. Schneider, take a look at it. Come on. Get the answer. Take a look. Yeah, let's go. Take a look. Boom. That's Ernie. There's another cash of the bet. The secret formula. Look at that. Boss picks Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. Bang. Run in the first inning. Bang. Ernie Clement 2+ hits. Bang. Kirk anytime home run is the long shot. But man, if he could hit that on this Canada Day, what a special day it would be. Unbelievable. That's safe. That's safe right there. That's a safe call. What a double by Ernie Clement. Unbelievable. That is what I'm talking about right there. Second hit. Look at that slide. That looks like a young Jacob Honke right there. I'm telling you, guy's an athlete. Come on, give us safe. I mean, he already got the hit, but let's keep this thing going. Let's put up double digits here. All right. Telling you, prop of the game. See? Top of the game. It works. Got that hit. Stressful, but guess what? It happened. It happened. Huge for the program. Boss is firing all cylinders. No way, he's out. That's bullshit. Absolute fucking treachery bullshit. All right, we've got a mound visit coming up here. Bottom of the seventh, 2-0. Blue Jays now up 9-0. We're going to take a very small bathroom PP break, and we will be right back for you viewers. We are back here for the bottom of the seventh. Pitching change by the Mets. They bring out another lefty. First pitch strike to the 8-hole hitter in the Blue Jays lineup here. Oops, wrong one. There we go. All right. So our boy Sean Keys of the Toronto Blue Jays hit an 8-hole DH right now. Hit his first career home run. We already talked about this conversation earlier with all of that here. So we've got it quite literally. Let's see here. All right. All right, we got a 1-2 count. For those of you that haven't seen what we've been doing here, the Boss First Bet GBT Challenge. It's the first and only of its kind, a challenge against ChatGBT, or as I like to call him in this moment in this challenge, BetGBT, where I ask ChatGBT for a pick in the game that we are broadcasting. He picked Blue Jays money line as Keys strikes out for the third out. Going into the top of the eighth, we'll stay with you during the commercial break, giving you the recap of the game so far. The Blue Jays money line was his pick, as I allowed him to pick first, which is okay because guess what? He's looking like he's going to win his. And of course, the boss picks the Blue Jays over 4.5 runs, which is clearly hit with ease so far. We're going for 10 runs on this Canada Day game. Why not? We've got the boss's secret formula. Blue Jays over 4.5 runs, a run in the first inning. Ernie Clement, 2+ hits. Bang, bang, bang. And we've got Kirk anytime home run, which would just be the cherry on top if he had a chance to hit in the bottom of the eighth. going into this 9-run lead. We've also got the top 3 pitchers for the Boss so far in the first ever Blue Jays Big Screen Sports live watch game broadcast. We've got Gosman, Cease, and Varland. You can see the stats right there. Varland clearly is the favorite pitcher of mine on this Blue Jays pitching staff, who I said last year that's not documented. It's just what I said, but it's not documented anywhere, and I'm okay with that. Where Varland was easily, in my opinion, the best relief pitcher on that staff and should have been the closer even in the postseason last year. But of course, they rode with Hoffman, who again helped get us to a World Series Game 7. Unfortunately, didn't go our way. And then Hoffman started as a closer this year, who eventually lost the job to Varland, who I know for a fact is not going to give that job up this year based on that ERA as well as strikeout and save numbers to boot. Our top 3 hitters, there may be some controversy from some of you Blue Jays fans on who the third choice is here. On the top 3 hitters list, we've got Clement, Okamoto, of course, no doubters there. And rounding out my top 3, and Jesus Sanchez, who all around has good numbers, hitting just about 275 with 7 ding-dongs and hitting an OPS of 753 there. And then again, make sure you go and check out our website. If you need some bathroom material, need a little bathroom break, head to bigscreensports.ca. All right, so for those that have been tagging along so far, we're just starting here, the top of the 8th inning. So we're going to get into our broadcast topic. We moved the worst things about summer back into the 8th inning slot due to us breaking the news of Darnell Nurse getting traded, as well as the Devon Levi trade from the Sabres for the Oilers goaltending there. So we are going to change that up here as we adjust the count here as well as the innings to show an 0-2 count in the top of the 8th. So let's show that here. Oops. While we also have ball 3. So we've got the top of the 8th inning here in Toronto, where the Blue Jays are up 9-0. We've got a 1-2 count. Corbin still absolutely dominating all the bullpen. Probably going to be one of the players of the game, if not top 3, based on Sean Key's first career home run, as well as Spencer Miles absolutely dominating all the pen as well. And there it is, the Patrick Corbin strikeout out number 1 as we reset here the count for the next hitter. Blue Jays, it's been all Blue Jays so far, but I think what you fans are waiting for here in the 8th inning, more especially as we dominate, is the worst things about summer. So let's get into it. All right. Base hit to left field, single, doesn't matter. Had to give up a hit eventually. So we've got a runner on first with 1 away here in the top of the 8th. All right. My 2 worst things about summer. First of all, I want you to share in the chat what yours is. I'll share mine, then you share yours. Give your thoughts on my picks. Give your actual predictions or your picks as well. Share your thoughts on mine. Let's have a fun conversation. Worst things about summer. Hard to talk worst things about summer. It's Canada Day. It's beautiful. My legislature background is just full of young families running around while I sit in here and talk Blue Jays with everybody here. As we've got the Iceman absolutely nailing the first pick in the Boss's worst things about summer. Number 1 answer, without a doubt, is mosquitoes. And Matty Ice, the Iceman 98, coming in hot with this rain and all of the mosquitoes. His 2 picks are the worst things about summer. Great pick, Matty Ice. It's great to see you on the broadcast here. So we've got those. Mosquitoes are the worst. I mean, I've been itching my legs and arms all over. I was just in Ontario for a few days. Shout out Scotty Gillespie, who went to go visit him. Mosquitoes were a little bit bad, but not nearly as bad as what I can imagine it's been like here the last 4 or 5 days I've been gone. The rain, the mosquitoes are coming out. I can't believe there's actually people outside with all the mosquitoes that have been flying around, even just running from my truck in my parking lot to my apartment door. So Iceman with the best answer. And my second answer is another good one as well. Drives people nuts. People have a lot of road rage. But for me, in this year, in this day and age of the summer being the most active that this could be, it's construction. Construction's the worst. And Edmonton downtown, where I live, is just a battlefield of orange pylon cones and workers coming up and down, changing 2 lanes into 1, 3 lanes into 2, and just making it the most obscene thing in the world to do, as we have a fly out to the center fielder for the second out here. So yes, my 2 answers for worst things about summer: mosquitoes and construction. Those are the 2 worst things. Now, There are definitely worse things in life. Yes, this is a white person problem, complaining about construction and trying to revolutionize and improve on your city, and also mosquitoes because it's so hot. But that's okay. That's why we complain about these things. We're white people complaining about white people problems. Matty Ice with the rain and the mosquitoes of being his pick. We want you to also share your picks as well here in the chat. We appreciate all the viewers that are watching. Appreciate it, Iceman. Saying good choice there too with the construction. So some other things as well, breaking news that came earlier in the game for those that may not have looked at their phones yet or tuned in to the Big Screen Sports broadcast and want it to be broken here for the first time with a 1-1 count here in 2 outs. Darnell Nurse been traded to the San Jose Sharks. Huge news that we knew was going to happen, but came and broke. Stan Bowman working on a holiday of Canada Day. You got to see and respect that admiration from him, getting deals done on free agency day. There's no vacation for that guy. There's no Wednesdays off like many of us have. He's getting the deals done, and the best part of the deal, going to San Jose, no salary retained. Not a single dollar, not a single penny has been retained by the Oilers. It's fantastic to see because, quite frankly, that was a big part of us moving Darnell Nurse. Was nobody's going to want to take him for $9 million, but they found it. You know, a lot of teams probably called that had good packages and good returns that said, we'll give you this good stuff, but we want half the salary retained. And Stan Bowman said, fuck it, we don't care. We'll find the, you know, needle in the haystack talent. We'll develop it ourselves. We'll take on 2 players. I don't have the names in front of me right now at the time. Muck the Puck is what I'm going to call the defenseman we got. And then there was another player as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we will be, you know, in a much better position. Don't leave us. Don't leave us. No. Fuck. God damn it. Top of the 8, 2 outs. Oh, 2-run home run. That hurts. That hurts. That's okay though. You know, you would hope it was a shutout on Canada Day, but that's okay. You know, got to give the Mets something to root for. As don't even know the guy's name, hits a 2-run home run opposite field off Patrick Corbin, who was dominating this game so far. And then, of course, the Oilers also traded for Devin Levi of the Buffalo Sabres, a goaltending, former goaltending prospect, or top prospect, they said. Haven't seen any other parts other than we gave him a 3rd-round pick. Not sure if there's anything else retained in that deal as we strike 1 to Juan Soto. So that happens as well. And then, of course, the Oilers as well signing defenseman Ryan Shea to a deal worth $4 million a year. Already looking up the Bob Stauffer tweet, says he's a, you know, second in penalty kill minutes on the Penguins, good at getting the puck out of the zone. Such Bob Stauffer way of thinking about things, but that's why Stauffer is the absolute man when it comes to that stuff. So you got to respect Bob's opinion on those matters, of course. So we got a 1-2 count here to Soto, top of the 8th inning. Make sure anybody watching, we're talking worst things about summer, throw in the chat, send me a text. I'll read it out, whether it's anonymous or not. If you got some gripes about the summertime that just pisses you off, we've got a beautiful day here on this wonderful Wednesday, Canada Day, with our Blue Jays playing against the Mets on this annual tradition unlike any other, as Patrick Corbin fucking boom rings out Juan Soto to end the inning. We're going to take a small break here, so make sure you throw in the chat while we're on a break your worst things about summer. Iceman, if you got any others, throw them in there while you're thinking about it. Jake Honky, anybody else who hasn't been in the chat, throw out the worst things about summer. We will be right back. right, we are back here. One out already in the first inning. Oops. Come on. There we go. Strike one. Come on. There we go. In the bottom of the eighth here, let's change that icon from top to bottom. There we go. All right. So we are talking worst things about summer. Myself, it was mosquitoes and construction were the worst two answers here, as well as our boy Matty Ice chiming in. The rain, of course, that we've been having here so far this summer, and on top of that, mosquitoes as well. So we want to share here the broadcast topics. Again, worst things about summer. We moved to the eighth inning so we could talk Darnell Nurse trade and all other things Oilers happening, all coming out today in the breaking news cycle. Stan Bowman putting in the work. Stay tuned for the ninth inning, the top of the ninth. We're going to have probably one of my favorite topics we've already talked about, with Matty Ice having one of the best answers when he gave his earlier in the week when I came up with the topic. So stay tuned for his answer there that I hope he shares again in the chat. So we've got a 1-2 count here again. Oilers. The Blue Jays are up 9-2 on the Mets here on this illustrious annual tradition, unlike any other. God damn it, the flag went down again. We're gonna have to fix that here. The flag's at half mast because, well, the Blue Jays are playing the Mets. The Mets are in New York. The flag's at half mast. Oh, what a catch. That is a incredible diving catch. Taylor, the left fielder, lays out to Rob Lucas of an extra base hit. What a hit. Oof. That was impressive. For those watching and actively watching there, that is quite the catch. Matty Ice says, I also don't want that smoke. I get that for sure. No doubt about it. All right. What a grab. My God. Little Brock Withrow slapped me to left field, and then boom, he's just laying out, putting the body on the line, down 7 runs. That's just a team guy doing team things. Looks like a young Matty Ice out there in left field. Vladdy, first pitch, foul ball. We talked about it, showing the broadcast topics here earlier. We were talking Vladdy a few times. We talked about him not being qualified to be an all-star, even because of the flawed voting system that allows fans to vote for the players to get from their favorite teams into the all-star game, and also talked about his second half outlook as well with that. So, again, it's very simple. We've got a 1-1 count now with Vladdy. In the ninth inning, we're going to talk best beer, airport, lake, or post-golf round beer. What's the best beer? Provided some answers and a routine ground ball yet again by Vladdy, who goes 1 for 4 today as we head to the top of the ninth. I've got to fix this flag behind me because I can't have this thing at half mast. So we'll be right back for the ninth inning. We've got the top of the ninth here, the last half inning, more than likely, of this Blue Jays Canada Day game. Welcome back to the Big Screen Sports broadcast with your favorite host here of The Boss, who I've been a pleasure to be joined by all of you who have been watching this game today and enjoying an annual tradition unlike any other. No, not the Masters. It's the Canada Day Blue Jays game. An incredible game. The Blue Jays are up 9-2 here in the top of the ninth. We had a couple historic moments here, including a Sean Keyes first career home run, 3-run opposite field home run here. as we get into the ninth inning. Some other things here, real quick. Make sure you go follow us on social media before the end of the game at Big Screen Sports on Instagram, TikTok, and X.com. X is at Big Screen Sports. All right. Like I mentioned, the ninth inning, the illustrious broadcast topic, the best beer, airport, lake, or post golf, as we have strike one thrown here by Patrick Corbin, who has been absolutely dicing aside from a 2-run home run. So I'll give my answer. I know Matty Ice, who's been in the chat before and hopefully is still there, he had an all-time answer when I first proposed the question a week ago to the boys. I think my favorite is the lake beer. Now, I say the lake beer because our family, our extended family, has a cabin out at Waldman. Shout out Waldman Lake. So when you're laying there with the diaper style life jacket, and those of you that, you know, have swam in a lake before and have worn the life jacket as a diaper, it's incredible. The upper body's free. You're not weighed down by a life jacket. Yes, I wear a life jacket. Some people call me an anchor because of how big I am. There's strike three. Boom. You know, good morning, good afternoon, good night for strikeout or out number one. The lake beer is the best because you're laying in the water. You get to stay nice and cool with the water. You still get the nice heat of the sun. That cold beer in a koozie is just the best when it comes to enjoying it. Now, the airport beer, I thought about it differently after Matty Ice's answer. If he wants to share, thank you, Matty Ice. Safety first for the boss, of course. We're a safe podcast here, or broadcast, sorry. As we have strike one there thrown to Lindor, hitting 0 for 2 with a walk in the fourth. The airport beer is great. Matty Ice's answer definitely changed that in a good way, but I still think the lake is the best. And post golf is good, but sometimes, you know, it's hard because, you know, you're just so tired from golf, especially like if it's so hot out. You know, you're moving around the whole time. As we have a 2-1 count now to Lindor. It's tough because sometimes after golf you just want to get in the car and go home. Maybe when you walk into your air conditioned apartment and you give the boys a couple beers, oh, that is gone. Bye. That is a long home run. Whew. Double decker. Wow, that was absolutely crushed there by Lindor. That is a 9-3 ball game. Tough look there for Corbin, who again I still believe did very good today. Oops, wrong score. But again, we're not going to judge him on one. Oops, we got a lot here. Reminder here, we're going to give our trivia answers here, so give a chance to check out these trivia questions. We'll share them here right at the after the second out of this inning. So there's that question there, and then we've got this one here as well. As we've got strike one here to the 5-hole hitter. So give us your answers in the chat, and we'll share the answer here shortly. Back to the best beer. I'm going to say power rankings. It goes lake, airport, post golf. Again, 3 of the best kind of beers. Some people say the shower beer. I think that's an overrated beer. As we have a fly out by the 5-hole hitter here, as it'll be 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. So while we're doing that, share your answers. What's the best beer? Airport, lake, or post golf? Share your answer right now before the end of the game, before we sign off here. And then we've got the trivia question here. For the first one, we'll share the question again and then share the answer right away. Here is the answer for this trivia question that we've shown a few times. It is answer A, 1981, 1992, and 2020. 81 was a lockout. 92 was a scheduled off day, which is crazy to me that they did that. And then, of course, the pandemic that unfortunately ruined everything here. The unusual part about the 2021 game is it was played in Buffalo due to COVID. The home field and the home game was at the Saline Field in Buffalo, New York. So there's the answer to the trivia questions as we have strike one here to the last hitter, potentially of the ball game. Matty Ice says, I like the 6 a.m. airport beer. Matty Ice, I'm just going to say for those watching. Matty Ice, I got to read it out loud because it was an all-time answer. He says... Oops, where is it? One of the best answers to a question. He says, let's see here. Where is that beer? Matty Ice, after strike 3, that's the ball game. Handshake, everybody. It's a big win. 9-3. Before we sign off here, let's give the final. Hold on. There we go. Do I have 3 outs? Nope. That's the ball game, folks. The last thing we're going to leave you off with, reminder, MLB Home Run Derby. There will be a Big Screen Sports broadcast. We'll promote it. Thank you all for joining. We're going to sign you off with the Matty Ice answer of the decade when it comes to the best beer debate. He says, the airport beer is best for me because I don't fly too often and there's a sense of adventure. What an answer with that. We're going to sign off with that. Thank you for joining the Big Screen Sports podcast. I've been the boss here. There's been nothing better I've enjoyed than hanging out with all of you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We'll see you again on the home run, the MLB Home Run Derby night will be a special broadcast for all of you. Good night, everybody.